Ems, hopefully you've got connection and you're the first one on this side, Ems, so we can hear from you. How are you?
I'm good, folks, man. It's been a while, man. Yeah, it's a shame what happened to your previous live, but we obviously know they were spam reporting. Um, when you look at how the media exaggerate things, they're making it look like this is a landslide victory. I'm not going to deny there is obviously reason for concern, and when it comes to the media, there's a saying, folks, and I've said this in a few other people's lives. If you don't follow the news, you're uninformed. If you do follow the news, you're misinformed. We live in a society where we don't care if it's true. We don't care if it hurts. We just want to say it, sell it. I believe anything you practice in life, you'll get good at, including BS. And this is what some of these influential, problematic people who are in position of power have been doing. And unfortunately, people who lack critical thinking, or like you said, thinking in general, easily fall into this propaganda. Yep. Now, we use this voting. Most people vote purely based upon emotions. Now, when we look at restore and reform voters, predominantly most of their grudge is about immigration. Yeah, people coming over. Yes. If that is truly what your beliefs are in and what you're advocating for, then technically the party you should align yourself with is Labour, because the numbers don't lie. Labour have actually made a huge reduction in immigration in terms of numbers compared to what Conservative did in the last 14 years in power. The numbers don't lie. And the thing is, I'm not a fan of Labour. In fact, Keir Starmer is actually my local MP, not only my Prime Minister. So, yeah.
How unlucky.
So I know. So even though I may not like the guy, I still have to give credit where it's due, where their party has actually made reductions in immigration in that aspect.
Yeah, but you know how it works though, Ems, is they will literally give you a little bit of crumbs to hold on to while they're shafting you from the rear. That's how it works in politics. Labour and politics of 2000s is very clever now, especially since the pandemic. You know, they're realizing how much they can manipulate people with their stuff. So they're all very trickstery. You know, they're rubbing their hands together and say, right, we know that we actually have the power to do things in a really, really big, serious way. So what can we do this time? Okay, let me get the leader of Labour, the leader of Tory, the leader of Reform. Let me get them in closed rooms where people don't even know where they are. They're so off the radar. And let's come up with a plan in a way we could all get rich and we can make British citizens be our puppets for the rest of their lives. Let's do this. So we make sure that it seems like we are enemies on the outside, but on the inside, we are manipulating people in a very, very big way so that parties like Reform, Green and Lib Dem are the opposition, because people are still thinking that Labour and Tory are the opposition. They still think that. They think these are the opposition parties to Reform, for example. Like Reform now, of course, we know have the biggest, marketing, and people are voting for them a lot. So they think that Labour and Conservative are the opposite side. They're not. Those three are one team. Green, Lib Dem, and some of the independents are the other team. They're the other side. They are the other side. But people really need to be more aware of everything that happens in the country, everything that happens with their neighbours, everything that happens in their constituency, and really understand, just like, please, Keir Starmer has a track record already when it comes to things like, I always bring up the same two examples, right, Ems? Jean-Charles de Menezes. No police officer was prosecuted to do with his unaliving in the 777 bombings, right? Nobody. And who was the head of the CPS at that time? Keir Starmer. Paul Tomlinson, another one, a man pushed over during something, I can't remember what it is, pushed over and unalived. No single police officer again was prosecuted over that. Keir Starmer, a human rights lawyer, does not have human rights at his forefront of his mind. Look at how he's behaved over the whole Palestine-Israel situation. No human rights have ever been considered there either. No. We cannot accept these crumbs and think everything is okay. No.
The thing is, folks, like, whether someone wants to implement a form of legislation or introduce something, yeah, whether it's something I agree with or disagree with, yeah, all I ask is if you're going to implement it, is that they do it consistently across the board and it's proportionate.
Yeah.
But they don't implement it. And I'll use an example. When it came to Notting Hill Gate Carnival, facial recognition technology was used. But when it came to the Tommy March, why was facial recognition not used? It's selectivism.
Yeah.
That's what it is. If you're going to put something forward, even if it's something that I disagree with, at least be consistent about it across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And that should be normal thing to understand, but people don't understand because, like I keep telling everybody, the UK is built on racism. It's built on fascism and racism. This is so easy to understand. It should be easy to understand. When you see that the behavior is not consistent across the board, you need to start thinking about, well, why is that? At least start thinking about it. Why would that be? Why would that be? If you're a white person, understanding racism is a very difficult thing because you've never experienced it. You don't know what it is. You think it's just name calling. But at least, like we're asking people to do, and I know it's hard, start critical thinking. Just start in your mind going, I wonder why that would be. Let me think about it for a minute. Let me try and understand why that would actually be, right? This is like basic shit. And we know we have to break it down for these people. We always have to break it down. Well, we have the lovely anti-racist mum. It's been so long.
Hey, hopefully it's not too noisy because I've started smoking again and I'm outside my house smoking.
Is life stressful?
But I have got my headphones in. Yeah, life is stressful, and the thing is, this is actually a real, like, not just a local, like a UK problem. This is, the more research I do into this is a real global problem, and it's linked to Palantir. It's all being funded by the Dark Enlightenment crew, the same people that fund the fake state, and the drive is, you know, they've got billions that they're pumping into preventing people from actually even being able to think, like you say, not even a lack of critical thinking skills. Like I said to you yesterday, like I went to order a coffee and said, can you put some water in it so it doesn't burn my mouth? And the woman said, do you want hot or cold water? Like, how are we in a state where you can't even comprehend that without needing to ask that question that it needs to be cold water? Like, you're actually so damn stupid. So there's like this epidemic of actual stupidness, and and a lot of it links back again to this, to whiteness not actually being anything, to being the erasure of culture, and white people not even being able to see that what we've lost from capitalism, patriarchy, and white supremacy creating whiteness as a colonial construct, and not like wanting to still be cucks for capitalism, still thinking that capitalism can be reformed and that these interlocking axes of evil are somehow beneficial to them.
Have I ever told you or mentioned around you the intellectual vacuum? Have I ever mentioned this? So I received an intuitive message 2 years ago, exactly what you're talking about, anti-racist mum, and the fact that we're noticing just how stupid people are. Like, it is very, 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 very apparent on the levels of intelligence between us all. So let me just look it up and I'll tell you the definition. Intellectual vacuum. And I get just intuitive messages in my head, just some random thing. And I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? So if you look up the intellectual vacuum, so researchgate.net is one of my favorite resources. And I love this site because it literally has millions of papers written by amazing academics. And when I heard this phrase, intellectual vacuum, I said, what the hell is this? What is it? So I went to Google it. So this was written in 2016, right? So let me tell you a little bit more just about the ResearchGate. You guys, please use it. It's got 25 million members, 160 million publication pages, and 2.3 billion citations. It is an amazing research. So in 2016, this guy called Ahmed Samuel Saeed wrote a paper about the intellectual vacuum. And the intellectual vacuum is a term coined by the scientist and philosopher Fayez Ahmed. Ahmed introduced this term into his book, Intellectual Vacuum. Ahmed asserts that the human civilization had been developed by the intellectual enlightenment in different ages. In his book, Ahmed describes how writers, poets, philosophers, political activists, painters, singers, and so on, who had played a key role in social changes through their works. In his book, Ahmed warned the world that this enlightenment had been halted throughout the ages by killing, exile, imprisonment, assassination, persecution, and financial predicament, right? So they're talking about how all these creative people, they've been the age of enlightenment, but they've also been persecuted simultaneously, right? And so it says, Ahmed demonstrated alarmingly that at present how different governments, political parties and other stakeholders of state are strangling the intellectual activities willingly across the world to secure their ruling power, collaborating with religious fundamentalists. Ahmed termed this deviation and interruption as the intellectual vacuum, right? So these people are being made to be intellectually stupid. These organizations, by the governments, by the states and religion, are keeping people stupid. It is called the intellectual vacuum. So any people that they saw who were a threat, who actually were very, very smart, like I said, philosophers, political activists, writers, poets, they've been so suppressed over history that they've become stupid, and it's then become their bloodline. So that's when we have less educated people, is because it's historical. And that is exactly Brown-Eyed Cypriot Gal, how they control the masses. You need class solidarity, absolutely. And so actually it goes on to say that Ahmed adduced that due to the unaliving, exile, imprisonment, assassination and persecution, an unprecedented severe intellectual vacuum has been created in certain countries such as Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Somalia, Sudan, Nigeria, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and so on. That's what they went on to say. Yeah, so it's a very, very dire situation. Anti-racist mum, I did see your comment there that your signal went down, but we got someone else cut here. I don't know if we've spoke before. I think No Point. I've got a feeling we've spoken before, haven't we? No Point. Hello?
I don't know if we have.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm going to give you a follow. You're good.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm very well, thank you. So I was literally on my main account, and because the conversation was so heated, they stopped it. So I've had to go on my backup account to continue the conversation. But basically, I mean, is that an Australian accent I can hear there?
No, I'm British. I'm from London, East London. Yeah, I don't know where people get this from. Like, I'm meant to be from Australia or something. It's funny.
Someone else said that to you before.
Just give me a sec. I'm at work. Yeah. Just give me a sec, please. I'm sorry about this.
Okay, no problem. So what I'm mentioning, of course, is the local elections. This is the topic we're talking about today in the UK. The local elections reform obviously got a lot of seats, but also the good thing is that they've got a low number of council seats. And this is what's really, really important. Yeah, I had an Aussie accent there. Was there anything else that you wanted to add as well to what I was talking about, this intellectual vacuum, anti-racist mum? She was talking about this stupidity. I mean, what have you noticed about people, Ems, and their stupidity?
Yeah, sorry about that. I had somebody come in. I'm at work at the moment. Yeah, I mean, I don't like the way this country is moving, to be honest with you. Far-right politics are gaining in momentum. We're seeing that it can be achieved because we have seen that the rise of the Reform Party, and before that we had the Brexit. Yeah, and how feeble-minded can people be to vote Brexit, which was economically very damaging to the country? Yeah, and then now we have this Reform Party, on the rise. Yeah. I have English colleagues here that work with me that are openly supportive of Tommy Robinson. Yeah. Now, I've spoken very much about this with them, that, Tommy Robinson, yes, he did suffer a lot in his life, yeah? But he
Did
got
he?
to understand.
Did he?
No, he's Oxford Union, like he gave his story. Why did he become the way he is, yeah? But, okay, he was bullied in school and he seen his friend being unalived in the streets, yeah, by a street gang. And then, who happened to be Pakistanis, right? And then you can't help but feel sorry for the guy. But at the end of the day, you've got to also realize that those Pakistani youths that, that he suffered from, their parents, when they came
I'm
here.
going to stop and interrupt you for a second right now, No Point. No Point, are you aware of P-bashings from the 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, and then back again nowadays?
Yes.
So you
Yes,
know
that's
that
what I was
big
coming.
So big groups of people, massive groups of people, white people, and of course, so some of the strays from the black and brown community, very small number, were also in those groups and actually attacking.
That's what I was exactly trying to say.
Right,
That
so you
he's
can't
this
feel
person.
sorry.
This
You can't feel sorry
I
for
wa-
somebody, right? If historically people like Tommy Robinson have always been the perpetrators of the crime, you can't feel sorry if there's some kind of
but because
retaliation.
what I was trying to say, I agree with you what you're saying, and the premise that you are projecting. But what I was trying to say is that people don't realize that Tommy Robinson suffered as a result of his the Pakistani, those Pakistanis' parents when they first arrived there, they suffered racism, and they were, as you said, P-bashing was going on back then. He didn't have the foresight to see that. And like these individuals that are supportive of him in my workplace, that are openly, supportive of the Reform Party and the EDL, they spoke to me about it as to why they want that country back. Yeah, that's the main argument. And I've explained to them more openly, look, we suffered. This is the reason why. This is the result of, racial discrimination and that kind of stuff.
Here a minute, because I feel like you're listening to too much nonsense from white people trying to make themselves victims of stuff. You literally have a very dangerous and disgusting right-wing person in Tommy Robinson, and you're sitting here saying, "Oh, I feel sorry for him because he saw his friend unalived." Our people have been unalived by the masses. We're not going and making these big protest groups and and unaliving other people. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. And we don't have empathy from white people either. No Point. I don't have
I get you. I
don't have empathy.
But that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying, Foxy. I'm exactly trying to say what you are saying. Although I'm not look, he did suffer. He was bullied in school, but he did, he was
Point.
bullied.
You're not getting it. You're not getting it.
Yeah.
This is what you can do, right? This is what you can do, is actually just understand the history of the UK more. That's
for a safer Britain, we must deport all the blacks and all the
Listen. You don't need to. And
deport all the blacks.
What happens, right? No Point. Because you have empathy for Tommy Robinson, that is the kind of people that's associated.
No,
with
I
him.
don't have empathy for him.
You
I believe
for you.
No, the message I was.
No Point. You don't understand how your opinions make way to opinions like that. You don't understand that, and I'm going to try and tell you why that is. Because you came up here, and the first thing you said was to have empathy for right-wing people. It was not about you as a person from the global majority. It was not about how you can suffer or your friends will suffer or anything like that. You were like, I feel sorry for these racists.
No, I wasn't saying that.
Yeah, you did. We all heard you.
No, Fox. I was trying to say. I was trying to say that people don't realize that this.
No Point. I'm just going to speak to the mods for a minute. 1 minute. So I haven't set up this account yet for moderation, because this is, of course, a very, very quick thing that I've done on another account, guys. So please do let me know if there's any problems down there in the chat, because like I said, I haven't set up anybody yet. So I will after this live, but no point. You're making excuses for people that have been bullied to say that they should then go on and literally make mass groups.
No, I think you misunderstood what I was saying.
There's one thing, no point. If one situation,
I think you misunderstood me. I think you misunderstood me.
I haven't misunderstood you, because you brought up Tommy Robinson as an example.
I don't feel sympathy for him in a sense. I think he was bullied. Yeah. I think he was bullied, but you don't.
No point. I'm muting you again because you didn't bring up an example of one person, one white person that you knew, right? If this was someone that you worked with or someone that was your neighbor on a personal level, and you'd had said this happened to them, so I understand why they want to retaliate towards that particular group of people. But you brought up Tommy Robinson, someone who is very, very far right, who is uniting racists across the world. You said that you felt sorry for him. That doesn't make sense.
No, not in that sense. No. What I'm saying is, events led him to become the way he is. That's what I was saying. But they don't realize that.
Backstory. We know the backstory of every racist. We don't need the backstory.
All right, cool. Of racists. Yeah. Cool. All right, cool. I understand. Yeah.
And most of them are born like that. Tommy Robinson and the things that he's done to women as well. It's in his family. It's not just Pakistanis. It's women. He also has a problem. It's actually people. He's a very violent person. What's Pakistanis got to do with that?
No, he was telling his story, like in the Oxford Union, and when I heard that, okay, fair enough. But
do you know what? I've never heard a single thing that Tommy Robinson has to say. Can you believe that? I've never heard a single thing he has to say, because as soon as I see an inkling of somebody to be like, that's the type of person I avoid them. And Claudia in the chat is saying you act like you know him personally. Like, yeah, just Tommy shared the story and we sat down with a cup of tea and he.
All right, yeah, fair enough. I don't know him like that, yeah. But look, there were Muslims on that YouTube video, right? I seen some comments then. They said, look, you can't help but feel sorry for his experience.
I'm finished with that conversation with you, because there is no point discussing this any further. No point whatsoever. Really and truly. Have a look in the mirror, who you are, sir. Existential horror, pattern up, bro. You need to really seriously pattern up, truly. Ems.
You know what, Fox? It's good that you dropped him, because, and I hate to say this, the reason why whitey people, or specifically English people, can't take the subject of racism seriously is, unfortunately, there are some people from both of our communities that do topics on this conversation and structure it for entertainment purposes. Yep. And it really discredits and disheartens when we try to take talk about these matters seriously.
Yeah, it is.
Really does.
It is a big problem. Really a big problem. Kiwi in the chat says, kind of explains why she hasn't such an extreme. I think you mean has such an extreme view of him, as she's only heard secondhand accounts. No, I've read. Like I said, I haven't heard him speak. I've read reports about him. I've read the case study on Tommy Robinson and exactly what he's done. As soon as you show me who you are as a person, I can tell you I've never stalked anybody, guys. I can tell you I've never been in prison, guys. I can tell you that I've never created massive groups to go and hunt down people and beat them up. I can tell you that, guys. I can tell you that for sure. You know, I judge people by their behavior. Oh yeah, I've even been blocked by Tommy Robinson. I forgot about that. Thank you. Yeah, Tommy Robinson's even blocked me. He blocked me because you know what I said to him? So when that stuff came out on X, right? The stuff about him having the gay algorithm, he was like, look, guys, look at all these adverts. They're saying that there's a no age homosexual schmecks, right? All I replied with was a screenshot of his post, because he deleted it. He was embarrassed. A screenshot of his post, right? And I said, Tommy Robinson, it's 2026. Or was it last year now? Leah's gone fast. 2025. Love who you want to love. He blocked me immediately. because I said to him to love who he wants to love. He was so offended by me and and giving my approval that he can love men. He blocked me. And I thought, why am I so special? Like, he's got loads of people that follow him. Why is he bothered about me? And it made me think, I think that guy might know me. He might know my voice. He might know who I am. Tommy Robinson might know who I am, because clearly my platform is very clear about the English. It's very clear about the stuff I talk about. And my stuff has been ended up on X. I remember one of my old videos that went viral from X, right? Somebody posted it and I said, in that video, someone was saying to me that I should be upset about immigrants. I'm like, bitch, I'm black. Why would I be why would I be offended by immigrants and descendants of immigrants? Because I'm a descendant of immigrants. My parents are immigrants. What? They were like acting like it won't affect you. It doesn't affect me because I'm an immigrant. Immigrants don't affect other immigrants unless they are completely brainwashed by the British Empire and by government. And they took that post, put it on X, and it literally went so many places. And it was so funny. It was absolutely hilarious. So yeah, Tommy Robinson has a real big problem with me and what I do, I think, and what I stand for. Because I was shocked, because honestly, he blocked me fast. It was very fast. And he didn't block other people that were saying this stuff to him as well, by the way. He didn't block other people. Anti-racist mum, you are back. Have you got good signal? Anti-racist mum, anti-racist mum, anti-racist mum. Anti-racist mum. Oh, she's gone again. And we've got John Kelly on the panel as well. John Kelly. So I'm talking about English people. This is what I generally talk about on my panel. Of course, we've had the local elections. I actually didn't vote this time around because my constituency, we voted the last time. So I was not able to vote this time. But what would you like to add to the conversation, please, John Kelly?
Firstly, you look amazing. Secondly, we've got something in common. So I take the piss out of Tommy Robinson and Nigel Farage, and I've had the same. I don't think you realise how stupid these people are. I've had videos that I've taken the piss out of them, and they're sharing it as if I'm actually being real.
Do you want to elaborate a little bit more?
Well, some of them have been taken down, but the recent one I did. So you know, like I take the piss out of reform voters. So the one I did. Last week, so I think the latest one's got like 80k, which is quite good engagement. But the one I did last week, I was being thick on purpose and pretending to not understand the difference between a local and a general election. And it actually got shared on Twitter. They don't know I'm taking the piss.
They don't understand sarcasm, like really and truly. Like things like that are very nuanced sense of humour. They only understand, this is the thing that annoys me so much about English people, is, you know, they slapstick. Like having slapstick, right? It's like fall over. It's like really the lowest form of intelligence to laugh at slapstick comedy. So doing things like sarcasm and playing them off themselves, they don't get it at all. It really goes over the head.
Honestly, and I've tried to make it so obvious sometimes. Like, can I just, like, please make this one obvious and make it so you know it's a joke? And still, they don't know.
No, on the last live I was just doing, so my live got stopped because X was like, this is too controversial, some of the things you're saying, Fox. Yeah, it happens. This is my fifth account now, I think. My fifth TikTok account. I'm not stopping yet. But I've talked a lot about
I nearly got banned too. Because the algorithm doesn't know.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't know. It doesn't understand. It doesn't like when we actually are right about things as well. But I talk a lot about English personality with the fact that passive aggressiveness, you know, is part of the culture quite a lot, right? Passive aggressiveness and not talking directly.
So on that subject, on that specific subject, so for a while I used to kind of defend the idea that they've been disenfranchised and, you know, the whole, this is way before the whole flag issue.
Yeah.
That they have kind of had their, like white working class English, they've kind of not been able to celebrate their culture. Yeah. I'm past it now because they've gone too far with it now. They're literally just, it's just rampant. The racism in English culture right now is just rampant.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important point to make, is that I don't have empathy for the working class. I have understanding. for the working class, right? I understand how they got there. I understand how they feel, but I don't have empathy because they're more wanting to hold on to their racism and discrimination above everything. It's very clear that that is the situation, right? So why am I going to feel sorry for these people? No. They're also being told at the same time how, look, right, I'm going to address a comment I've just seen down in the chat. I'm Dear says, Fox, you're middle class, you wouldn't understand. No. Let me tell you something real quick about colonization, sir. I grew up on a council estate. Black and brown people came to the country as working class, sir. We came to the country as working class. My mother was colonized first by the French and then by the British in the schools, making them speak in this accent, which was passed down to me. Not middle class. Actually ended up being middle class because guess what? We work out here. We work. You guys project onto us all the time that we're here for handouts. We fucking work. You guys don't know how to work. We work.
You and I are similar. Obviously, I'm not black, but like code switching, like having to come from a council estate and then to be successful, learn how to speak proper.
Yes.
In the corporate world.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely true. There's a reason why we, like you've just mentioned, and like I've mentioned, the accent, it literally has to be of a higher level in order to be seen. Also in the black and brown community, we've been given more ethnically English names to feel accepted, right? Like our parents literally had to make the conscious decision to give us English names. That's how deep it actually has gone, the colonization. But the colonizers don't understand something? That. They won't understand that. They won't understand.
No, I don't think so. John, what do you do for a living? Like, what do you do? Like,
I'm a finance director.
I do various things. I was a web and graphic designer for many, many years, but I actually became a dominatrix. So that's my main thing. I also left the UK 4 years ago as well. So yeah, I do various things. But
which estate did you come from?
Have you ever done manual?
Huh? From where?
Have I ever done manual labour? Yeah.
I wasn't from London. I wasn't from London. My parents were from London. Yeah, I lived outside of London. Yeah.
I think he's asking me if I've done a manual job. Of course. Listen, we grinded until we found a way.
We're going to move to the next person as well. We're going to move to the next person. We're going to move to Japster. So thank you so much, John Kelly. I think I'm going to go and check out your videos after to see what you're actually about. So we've got Japster on the panel. Japster, how are you? Japster, hello. I'm going to count down 5, 4, 3.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, you're there. You made it just in time. I was going to drop you because we need to be fast around here. So how are you today?
No, I'm good.
Good. What would you like to add to the conversation?
I was just listening. Then I was just thinking, I was just wondering, what do you think of the results of the local elections? Like, how do you feel?
I'm not surprised by the results, truly. Like, this is England, of course. We're talking about just English results. I'm not surprised by them. I'm not disappointed by them either, because like I said, I was expecting this. For me, because I have friends and family in the UK still, I don't live there anymore, I do have a concern. I left 4 years ago because I could see how the country was going. As a black person, of course, I'm going to be very concerned about racism, discrimination, sex, and being a black woman, I'm going to be concerned about sexism and even ableism for people who I would consider myself trying to be an ally towards. So when I see the party called Reform talking about, removing human rights, it's a big concern. It's a big concern. And at the same time, it is something that needs to happen to England. I mentioned this a lot. Actually, not even a lot, just recently, about English people voting for their own demise. It is something that needs to happen. And English people are going to be the first ones that suffer from this. So it's literally up to them to see. And that's how I kind of feel about the situation. What about you?
I was pretty happy about it. Mm-hmm. But, that's just how I feel anyway. You know what I mean? I just felt like it was kind of a victory for normal people, you know what I mean? Like,
what's normal?
Because I live in the northwest, so I feel a lot of people would say that the northwest always gets left, always forgotten about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because it's like it was an industrial place, wasn't it? You know, obviously, you know, it's not as powerful as it once was, and you know, a lot of people here do feel like it, you know, left out. You know, like London's like the main place, isn't it? You know what I mean? So like, I just thought, you know, like for normal working class people, I just thought it was like a victory. You know what I mean?
When you said normal people, you mean working class in the north. That's what you're making.
Yeah, you know, like manual labour, like workers, people who aren't in offices and stuff. You know, it's just people. I mean, like, I'm not saying like we're daft and stupid because we're not, but like, you know, a lot of people from London are a lot. You know, they're always in offices and stuff, and they, you know, they're a bit like pampered, you know, and privileged. I'd say.
This is that.
I call them southern softies.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Southern divide, right? The north-south divide. But at the same time, what people down in London area and the south of England do, and I don't know if you guys do it up in the north, but certainly in the south. And I mentioned this a lot about the Industrial Revolution, how brutal it actually was, and how people were really suffering. There were many people living in houses, children were enslaved, they were contracted out, children were abused as well simultaneously. And I feel like people are not understanding the brutality of the Industrial Revolution, especially in the South, because they tried to make you guys think like it was a very proud era, when actually it was on the back of everything the British Empire stole throughout the world. And so they then enslaved their own people, particularly in the north, right? And made you pay seriously high taxes, took away homes, took away livelihoods, really disenfranchised people in the north, right? And it became generational. So for people to say that they're proud of a country, I always ask them, well, what exactly is it that you're proud of? Like, what is it?
Well, I'd say, well, you know, there's where I live, there's like a big company called Pilkinson's, and that was like a massive, you know, glass. But they're still in, you know, they still do it today, like, but that was like a massive, proud industry of that town. You know what I mean? It was a big job. You know, they give loads of people jobs, you know what I mean? And like, you know, places like that, and then like you think, you know, it's all going downhill, you know what I mean? Like industries are dying and stuff, and I think like, you know, it's all going abroad. And
it's like everything is moving, right? Capitalism always reinvents itself every however many years, right? And it's up to people to also keep up with that. Of course, we're in the technological era, right? Technological era. So things like AI and internet computing and web design and all those kind of things. And if you're not training yourself up, or you're not creating job opportunities in those areas, you're going to get left behind. That's literally how Western Europe decided it was going to be, truly. And it really decided a lot of that throughout its history, where it wanted to have cheap labor, because as you may or may not know, I don't know if you do know, Britain spent 200 years in India stealing their industry in terms of textiles and clothing, and then used them as cheap labor, took the shit back to the UK and outpriced Indian people at the same time, right? This is exactly what they were doing. They were taking their products, selling them in the UK as the same price, but also taxing Indian people very high and stopping people from buying Indian products by actually putting more tax on their goods as well. So this is very important to know and understand how industries have worked historically in Britain, and the way that the world is moving, because people, as we know, are spending so much money on sites like Amazon. And of course, Amazon have got bases almost in every single country. Amazon at the same time is outpricing local creators. So even people who are, you know, have maybe got Etsy stores, right? So British people, if you talk about working class people and they've got their working class hobbies and they're putting their stuff on Etsy, you got someone like Jeff Bezos who's like, right, okay, let's take that person's idea and resell it for cheaper in bulk. You know, these things are also happening at the same time. So capitalism doesn't work for everybody. And it's not going to work in the UK either, because the country, unfortunately, is going to crumble. It's been on the cards for quite some time. Yeah. Thank you so much, Japster, for being here. I'm going to move to the next person. We got 333 above you. 333, are you there? Yes.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Lovely. So this is the conversation today. My platform generally is talking about English people. English people have voted for reform. Scotland have made their vote very clear. They want SNP. Wales as well. Plaid Cymru, the first time, is being voted for in terms of having more seats. It's actually good news. And for me personally, I've been seeing this, that English people, it's their time to understand that they're kind of being phased out of Britain because they're not actually indigenous to Britain. So this is a natural thing that's happening right now. So
yes, they are. The Anglo-Saxons would be classified as the indigenous people of England, right? As they're the ones who built the country.
Not of Britain. If I want to start creating a land, I have a patch of land in Scotland, right? I'm not going to be indigenous to Scotland.
Be the Celts.
Yeah,
wait, are the Celts not? Wait.
Yeah.
Fox, is the Celts not indigenous to Scotland?
Yeah, but the English aren't Celts. They're Anglo-Saxon.
Yeah, the English are Anglo-Saxons, right? So who built England? Can you tell me what heritage built England?
I've just given you the example. You're talking about
the
settler country that you created does not make you indigenous to Britain. It just makes you a creator of England.
Wait, Britain wasn't formed till like the 1600s, but why are you talking about Britain here?
Britain was already there
would you say?
hand.
Wait, Fox. Would you say that the Celts built England? Yes or no?
The Anglo-Saxons are not Celtic, sir.
I'm aware, bro. What do we mean by Anglo-Saxons? They would be classified as Anglo-Celts in England. These would be the ones who... Oh my gosh, Fox, search up, please. So, also, do you want to talk about white privilege?
Well, you're flitting from one conversation to another.
We can talk about either or.
Anglo-Saxon thing to white privilege. Like, where's the train of thought?
That's what I originally wanted to come up to talk.
The topic we're talking about is reform voting, right? We're talking about reform. We're talking about English being the weakest link. This is what I'm talking about. So that's the topic of conversation. Should we actually try to stick to topic and what you're talking about?
All right, Fox. Yeah, Anglo-Saxon would be classified as the indigenous people of England, as they were the ones who instated England, right? The people prior to England wouldn't be classified as the true indigenous to England.
You're not answering the question.
That's literally the heritage of the people. Yeah, you're going a bit far from the point, right? The whole point, what we're talking about here, is that Scottish people, Welsh people have voted differently to the English because the English people who aren't indigenous to the land are voting for bigotry, which is not compatible with Britain itself.
Can you tell me what bigotry? Go ahead. Yeah, can you tell me what bigotry Reform have? Go ahead.
Did you vote for Reform?
Yeah, of course. So can you tell me some bigotry?
You should know what bigotry is. Tell us. That's what you voted for?
Yeah, I'm asking you to tell me
what
bigotry they have.
You voted for it. You know what it is. You tell us.
You're making the claim that it's bigotry. I need you to give me proof of bigotry and reform. That's not how it works. You don't make a claim, then you try and make me prove the claim. Hello?
Okay, you tell me the reason why you voted for reform.
Yeah, great. So to lower migration, so we can stop the ethnic replacement in Britain.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I asked him to define it.
Answered your own question.
Yes, go ahead, John Kelly. Yeah.
We can debate on that. Do you believe that the replacement's happening?
John Kelly, do you want to carry on?
The question is replacement of who or what?
Yeah, the white British people.
The white British people are being replaced?
Yes, I have.
So you're going to say that we used to be 95% white and we're now not white, 95% white?
Yeah, the decline in the white British would be...
But the population of white people has increased during that time.
I'm not sure how this correlates with Britain, but okay.
In Britain.
So the white British community hasn't gone from 100% to 76%. We can see on the ONS, right?
They were never 100%, by the way. They were never 100%. Since the statistics have come out, they've been 97% back in the 1970s.
Okay, you understand what I mean, though, right? We can see that the white British community is decreasing rapidly. Okay,
why are you having your babies there? again. Why are you blaming us that nobody wants to have schmecks with you? Why is that our fault?
That's just a cop-out.
Why is
That's just
that
a
our
cop-out.
fault? Why are you blaming
Fox, that's
black
just
and
a
brown
cop-out.
people if women aren't interested in procreating with you? What's that got to do with us?
Fox,
Also,
that's
can I just say, do you understand
that's
that
just a
the
cop-out
economy?
argument.
Can I just say, do you understand how poor England was in the 70s and how much the economy and the population has grown hand in hand because the growth in the population, the immigrant population, has fed into the growth in the GDP?
Yeah, so
Hey,
can you
can I
tell
say
me, John,
something?
can you tell me how the GDP is affecting your life positively? Go ahead.
How does that even make sense? Because you're literally in a circular, what's the word, idea. How has it
It's
affected
not
your life?
circular. Hello? I'm asking you how the GDP has made your life more positive when the factors of the pricing of houses is ridiculously high to the prices of wage.
What does that have to vote for? Why would you vote for a far-right party based on that? Why would you not vote for a far-left party that wants to reform housing?
Yeah, I have left-wing economics, right? But I agree that right-wing socially is far better. So, John, I'm gonna ask you, how is the GDP helping your day-to-day life when the prices of houses are ridiculous?
The whole thing about GDP is it's grown with population. That's what I'm saying. So the idea that the increase in immigrants or people from other ethnicities in this country is taken away from you as a white man is nonsense because it all grows together.
Oh, and I'm asking you how the GDP is affecting mine and your life positively. Why should I accept this GDP, and why should this be the main reason we should have migration when it has had nothing to do positively with me? GDP is just a capitalistic thing, and you don't like capitalism. So why are you arguing for it? You understand that GDP is useless.
It's not useless. It's how you grow a country and how you can increase the population.
John,
Go on.
please explain to me how GDP has affected my life positively.
Your own personal life, you grew up with privilege in the UK and you had all the opportunities to make the best of that GDP. Whether you have or not is up to you.
Yeah, so can you tell me what privilege I have in Britain?
Oh, God.
No, go ahead.
You just said you're an indigenous person, so then obviously you're here born and bred. So you was afforded lots of opportunities by being in a wealthy country.
Yeah, so can
Free
you,
education, free healthcare.
So wait, does a migrant not have these opportunities as well?
A migrant, not what?
Does an
Why
immigrant
would they
have
not?
these
Why would they
opportunities?
not?
Yeah, so you're telling me I have privilege, right? I'm asking you what more I'm privileged in than another person like a migrant.
Because you're white in a white country,
Yes.
predominantly white country.
So, John, I'm asking you, what can a black person not do that I can? In Britain.
What do you do as a job?
Let me explain something real quick. So I've just added some moderators. You guys have moderator permissions in the chat. Thank you so much. You can do what you need to do down there. Mute, block, etc. 333. Your knowledge on this is very limited. 333. Laws are in place for superficial protection. Can you say that every law is applied with 100% accuracy?
No.
Exactly. So that means that there is room. I'm saying this slowly. That means there is room for what? Discrimination.
Yeah, so discrimination
even though,
code.
333, there are opportunities for black and brown people to do the things that white people are also able to do. It does not necessarily mean that they're not going to be discriminated against and held back from said opportunities, because that's what happens simultaneously, 333.
Yeah, so Fox, can you tell me how discrimination doesn't go both ways for the white counterparts and the brown counterparts?
Give us an example of all this discrimination that white people are experiencing.
Yeah, so we can talk about the white British, right? The white British ethnic minorities get paid 5k extra.
British ethnic minority, you are a majority.
No.
Why are you talking
British
about
isn't an ethnicity either, by the way.
I just said, Fox. You didn't
You're
hear what I just said.
Anglo-Saxon, you said, by the way.
White British ethnic minority. What?
No. White British gets paid £5,000 less than an ethnic minority as an incentive for teaching. you want to search up?
That's not true.
You can laugh. You can laugh.
Okay,
Everyone in this live.
333.
Everyone in this live.
1
Search
minute.
it right now.
1 minute.
5K.
I know what that is that you're talking about. Okay, what you're talking about is getting upset about a particular job, a particular project that was actually done through universities. And again, this is why you guys get upset about DEI. You take this phrase from America, DEI. What it is actually saying that this group of people are very disenfranchised, so we're going to give them an opportunity. Because guess what? It also happens for people in the disabled community as well, right? There are particular opportunities that are given towards. It's not discrimination, Mark Watson, and don't call me love at all. There's nothing lovely about me towards you. When there are groups of people that are disenfranchised and do have disadvantages, why would they not be looked after? Because you guys never complained when you had all of these working class apprenticeships, right? They were always going towards white working class boys. You never complained about... No. Listen, you never complained when you had all of these apprenticeships going to work in building sites and to have all of these trades. You never complained about all those things at all. But now we understand that there is discrimination in the UK. It was built upon it, whether you believe it or not. Go and read some history, how your country was created.
Yes.
It was built on racism and discrimination. So therefore, there needs to be laws to protect people from the discrimination, and also at the same time, they're not simultaneously enforced.
Yeah, so Fox, number one, can we just get this clarified? We're talking in the modern century. I don't know why you've gone back to a historical privilege of white privilege, right? I would agree.
To understand today, you must go back a little bit.
I'm aware, but
Today's just not appeared out of nowhere. We didn't just appear on this planet. We didn't just appear in this country. You have to go a little bit back to understand why the country is as it is today.
Fox,
So, mate, you was going back with Anglo-Saxon ethnicity, by the way, so you can't call out going back in history. You did the same thing.
Yeah, it's
We're
true.
talking about privilege.
Yeah, they're calling you out as well in the chat. 333. You were the one who went
They
back
were-
to Anglo-Saxon 1066, 450 AD.
That was a different debate, bro. We were talking about indigenous people. Now we're talking about privilege. Hello? How can you track?
Your history. You're still talking about your history. You did that.
No, mate. We're having the argument.
Right, we're going to move to the
Do
next
you
person.
understand?
We're going to move
Fox,
to
we're
the
not
Can I
next
just ask a
person.
question?
I'm just going to drop that person now because I am kind of bored of that person and they're not getting it. And I also didn't like their voice as well. I didn't like their voice. John
Yeah,
Kelly.
I just wanted to say I don't understand how he doesn't understand that in this country it's easier for you to be, whether you're working class or middle class, to obtain and take advantage of opportunities if you're white compared to other ethnic. But is that, am I being like, I'm not being radical, that's just obvious.
It is obvious, but unfortunately, when you have people who haven't been on the planet very long, they don't see that yet. they really don't see it yet. Yeah, people in the chat now who are back again, and I should have said this on the last live, if you're going to come for me, can you at least spell your insults correctly? Like the bare minimum, right? Because I love it when you actually prove me right. Like we talk about how English people are very uneducated. We talk about how they've been left behind by their system. They can't even insult me using the right words. And a lot of them like to use spam because they actually don't have a big, sentence. They don't have a good vocabulary. So you see a lot of them. And as we know, you can't tell these days between a reform bot and an actual English person. Because if they're saying vote reform, I don't know if you're a bot or a real person. Because you're like the same. You're the same. Right, Yaye, we've got Yaye here. Good to see you, brother. How are you?
Hi, hello, you okay?
I'm good, thank you so much. I'm good. So what would you like to add today? The topic generally
I just
is, of course,
wanted to
the elections.
debunk some of the lies about reform. Some people call it deform in Twitter, but about 20% of reform politicians are ex-wife beaters.
Yeah.
Like when I see women lining up to whitey women lining up to vote for reform, it just baffles me quite a lot. And and also a sanctuary for convicted felons like Lucy Connolly. When she was released from prison, the first guy who had welcomed her to his party was none other than Nigel Farage. And one of the things they stand for is abolishing the indefinite leave to remain. I mean, we've got 600,000 people living in the UK legally, and he said he's going to deport them. And when he was challenged on that question, he couldn't respond to the question. He wants to scrap the Equality Act. I mean, he wants to privatize the NHS. He's quite a weird guy, and he 49 years ago he refused to apologize. What he told his fellow Jewish students, gassed them. Adolf Hitler was right, and when I saw him standing shoulder to shoulder with the Jewish community, I was quite shocked as well. And there's a lot of demonizing of the Greens as well, like Zach Polanski. Some of his policies are quite progressive. Like he is pro-immigration, but he did not say he's going to open the borders. He just said we need to have safe and legal routes.
Do you
But
even
this
know what you're
nonsense
talking
of,
about?
David,
open
don't talk.
borders.
1 minute. This is a panel.
So yeah, this
1 minute, yeah, 1 minute.
yeah, sure.
How I run my lives, guys, for you guys who've never met me before, don't know anything about me, there are people before you. Everybody else is on mute. You have your time to speak. If you unmute and you talk, you will be dropped, okay? That's just how it goes around here. Everybody needs to respect each other and not talk over each other. Wait until I call you. Thank you. Right, Yaya, carry on, please.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time I saw on Twitter as well making very racist tweet. Cartoon about Zach Polanski. And anti-Semitism is there, but when he speaks about it in a very broader way, then they start saying, "Oh, this guy, has got issues." Sometimes they start speaking about his tooth. I mean, it's just very weird when someone has got nothing to say. They just, they start getting very, very personal. And my mom voted for the Greens a few days ago, and that was a good thing as well. And
I think I think that's definitely, you made many good points there. I think the anti-Semitic conversation is really quite ridiculous, considering, of course, this started when Corbyn was in charge of Labour, right? So that's when this stuff started happening. People who actually are for the Jewish community and for Palestinians, all they are doing is not being pro-Zionist, right? They're not Zionist. That's literally it. It's got nothing actually to do with Jewish people or Palestinian people or Muslim people. It's got nothing to do with the religions. It's making sure that actually Zionism doesn't win. So when you are then going against Zionism, they will say, well, you're anti-Semitic. No, it's not the same thing. And you see people who aren't even Jewish now supporting Zionism, right? And it is really freaking ridiculous. The example that you did bring up, that Nigel Farage literally bullied Jewish people back in the day, and now he's the spokesperson for what's right against Jewish people. And yet you have Zach Polanski, an actual Jewish person who is supporting Jewish people and actually supporting Muslims and actually against Zionism, but yet he's supposed to be the anti-Semite. Like, English people need to be smarter than this. Unfortunately, they're not. They're really not, and that's why they've always been the weakest link. I always think it's very ironic that they can be so proud for fighting the Enzis. We fought them during the Second World War. But now they've become them because they're against Jewish people who actually want to have freedoms and be protected. They're becoming the Enzis again, but under the flag of Israel, which actually is the sign of Zionism. English people don't understand how Israel was even created. They don't know anything about the Balfour Declaration. They don't understand that it was Britain and America who created that country, which was an extension of Zionism. They don't understand these things at all. They don't want to look in their history because it's too brutal. And it is very, 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 very contradictory, their existence. And again, as I always say, they make it very clear just how easily manipulated they can be. They don't have an identity. This is why they can go from left to right to left to right to schmartzy to liberal. Like, they don't get it. The saddest thing I think now, there's many sad things, but how can you go from voting reform and then being like, right, I'm green now? You have to understand that that's a fucking mess. That's an absolute mess. to go from reform to voting Green is a mess. Ems, you got some things you want to add?
I just wanted to address the other individual that obviously you dropped when it came to GDP. So I'm going to answer it very, very simple. Some people like to think that they come from an intellectual angle, and they don't. Okay, GDP can actually impact people's lives in a positive manner. It all depends on how that wealth is created and mainly how it's distributed. And I will say this: if a country has a high GDP, people tend to get higher wages or higher salaries. Therefore, if I happen to get a higher salary or increase in my salary, Fox, I'm more likely to be taxed more, right? Because then I'm moving to a different threshold. Therefore, the government collects more money in terms of tax revenue, which can then be used to fund healthcare systems, schools, transport, and policing. Does that not benefit me and the public? What we have, though, is unfortunately, is obviously the government, when it has the wealth, it doesn't distribute it fairly. Yeah. This is why, obviously, there's the North and South divide. A lot of the wealth doesn't get distributed proportionately. That's not the fault of immigration. That's the fault of your government.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Now, when we want to look at this, what you were saying, what was it that?
That's the problem.
Teachers get paid.
We talk about historical problems. We talk about where the problem comes from, but because they realise that they fucked up along the way, they're not willing to accept that ends, and that's why it is always easier to blame brand new people to the island for their centuries of disappointing behaviour. Yeah. Please don't talk on the panel.
Now, the second point, he obviously said that.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Ems. Okay, we're going to move to the next person. We've got Serial. Ems, you can come back in. If you want to say something extra, please put your hand up in the chat, Ems. Serial, what would you like to add?
I think hello there. I think, GDP is seriously misunderstood. GDP analyzes which area is most productive, right? Going back to English people do not want to do jobs. When we look at the northern areas, like say Liverpool, for instance, it's not productive enough. When jobs are available, like say high paying jobs, nobody's taking them because people are not qualified enough to take them, or people are too lazy, which is what productivity is showing. There's no productivity in that area because people want to just dust around claiming benefits and that kind of thing, which shows that white people are unwilling to work or take up the jobs, that are available to them. Yeah, it's not that this country doesn't have the riches, which is why a lot of companies are now investing in London. It's not the fault of the southern people or Londoners that companies are investing here because they believe the talent is based in London.
True.
Do you understand me?
Very true.
Because people are willing to take up opportunities here, or high-paying jobs here in London.
People need to understand how capitals of countries work. They don't. Yeah. If you are somebody from the north of England and you don't have any work opportunities around there, you move. I was not born in London, around London. I had to move for the opportunity. People move from other countries, cross waters to get opportunities. But yet you have people complaining in the country that they don't want to take a train ride and relocate. And that is the definition of privilege, because they would rather sit and claim benefits because it's just too difficult to hop on the M60 or whatever the road is that goes from the north to the south.
Exactly, and then they blame us for it. But African and Muslim people, they came here through the visa system. We didn't have automatically right to welfare provisions. Do you understand me? Unlike the free movement that EU enabled all these Eastern Europeans to come here, but unlike them, we didn't have that privilege. Our parents, when they came here, they had to pay into the system before they were allowed to have any welfare provisions. Yeah. So we have every right to be here. I'm just going to
interrupt you there. Sorry, Serial, because I don't like having that kind of conversation. We don't need to justify our existence in the UK. Like, our parents don't need to, our grandparents don't need to at all. We don't even need to breach that. We've got the access. We clearly got.
I know, because they would. Our history is with Britain. They colonized us and everything. And they can't tell us now that they just moving here and all that. They're taking over our country and all that kind of stuff, which is wrong.
Well, again, the so English people have lost control, and they only do things in a way that makes them think that they've got control, which is like, what can I do? I'll put up a flag. I'll put up a flag. And like, the funny thing is, I always laugh.
Some of
There's
it
so many
is
things that they do that I laugh about, and I say,
we
well, when your flags blow down, what do you do next? And they just say, we put up more flags. They don't have any clue.
we've seen how detrimental Brexit has been to the economy, yet they are still willing to vote for reform. How stupid can you be? Again, they're using the same guy, Nigel Farage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They think, right? They think that they're waking up to something. They're not waking up to anything, because they're still doing what the 1% and what the media and what the government want them to do. I don't know why they think they're awake. We're the ones who are actually awake, because we are the ones who actually decolonize.
What I hate is when they use, say, if a Muslim or a black guy commits a crime, right? Look, you got as many criminals within every other race, right? We're not all perfect. Let's not do that
a minute, because white people, if we're talking about race now, historically and presently, we know it's the white Western Europeans that are doing that shit at home and globally. Historically, they've unalived the most people in history. 500 million people from just the Europeans alone in various different campaigns.
The Mongolians did, but whatever.
Including
the Mongolians did now.
Including World War I and II, you know, so it really is.
Yeah, that's true. But what I'm saying is they're using those people as example. Look, this is what our country is becoming because of these people. They are replacing these people with us. That's a dangerous premise, because most of us are hardworking and good people. Yeah. And, you know, obviously we're not perfect. Just like your own people.
Because I feel like please take this with a pinch of salt. I know what it's like being a black and brown person, because they literally make us feel like we have to justify our existences, because they constantly project onto us what they think we are, when it's them. It's them. It's not us, you know, just trying to say that, oh, there's good and bad in all communities. We haven't even done 1% of the stuff that they've done at all. Please, we need to be more empowered as people.
You never had Africans colonize a country, so you know, to come and say, you know, use those examples and everything. We can always turn back and say, look at your history, colonial past.
Sorry, technically.
1 minute, please don't.
They have in Liberia.
Please don't interrupt. Please don't interrupt, May. The rules on my panel are that we go one at a time, and then you can have your point to say what it is that you want to say. So hold that thought, and then you can come back a little bit later. So yeah, that's my point, Cyril, is that don't accept the labels that they give us. It's not us at all. There's a reason why I focus on the English, because British people, Welsh, Scottish, Irish, those people were indigenous to the land first, and English people, they're the only ones that have voted differently, which is in their bigotry, because it's not actually compatible with what Britain is. It's not, and that's why I always focus on English and not British. Once you understand.
Do you know what hurts, Fox? We are trying to help them. In other words, we want to work, we want to do the right things, but when we have somebody saying to us, look, that is working against us, like the Reform Party and Brexit, and you know, like, people are going to suffer. And it's going to affect all of us because of these rash decisions that these people are making for their own country.
Unfortunately, their dislike of themselves and other people is what is stronger than actually understanding what unity and progress could look like. Unfortunately. Thank you so much, Cyril. I'm going to go to the next person now. We've got Shah.
All right, take care. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Shah on the panel. Shah, how are you today?
Hello, I'm doing great.
How are you? Can I ask your age, please?
I'm 19, 2006, May 20th.
Okay, thank you so much. So this is the topic today. We're talking, of course, about the election results. We do talk a little bit about history as to why English people have voted completely differently from the rest of Britain on this local election, and kind of diving into that a little bit. So what do you want to add to the topic today, Shah?
Of course. I'd like to add, first and foremost, for the local elections, especially in my area, I'm disappointed in the people who have voted for reform. It's disgusting. We know what they're going to do. We are aware, and you play blind because of immigration, and it's stupid. I personally voted Green, but because of the amount of people who are so oblivious and hateful, they voted Reform because they can't see that actually immigration built this country, built it up from the ground. The reason we have the economy we have now is due to immigrants, not due to white people. White people didn't even help us one bit, mainly. It was immigrants who helped us.
Do you see any other reasons as to why people like Reform voters vote, except for, so outside of immigration, do you know any other reasons as to why they would be voting for them?
So another reason as to why you wouldn't vote for Reform?
No, why they would. Do you know of any other reasons why
they would?
Yeah.
So Reform has said a few things, anti-Semitic, racist, etc. They've also said a few things about the LGBTQ plus community. This involves lesbian, bi, gay, trans, queer, plus, meaning all the other sexualities, genders, etc. Which is horrendous. We can't be letting this happen. I'm seeing people who are literally here just talking constantly about immigration. Immigration isn't a problem. What is a problem is Reform.
If I ask you a question again, because it seems to me that you believe that the only reason why people are voting for Reform is because they don't like immigrants and they don't like people from their LGBTQ community. So it's the same feeling for me as well, is that I believe that their hatred of others, their dislike of others is stronger than their want to actually have progress. I do understand there is a percentage of Reform voters that used to vote Labour. Okay, so Labour did used to be the party for the people. They were the party of the working class, but because they have been, very, very sold down the river from Labour because they've become Tory, the next best party they can vote for is Reform. But I have not seen enough people waking up and understanding that Reform is not the party for them. They're not a working class party. They're literally just a party for racism and for discrimination. That's literally all they stand for. They don't stand for any women whatsoever.
May I ask one thing?
1 minute, Him.
Women and children.
We've got women and children are not protected at all. So Him, please do wait your turn. Hold your question and we will come to you. So thank you so much, Shah. We're going to move to the next person. Thank you, Shah. Thank you. We've got user 793 next on the panel. User 793. What would you like to add, please? User 793, are you there?
Hiya.
Hiya, how are you today?
How are you doing? You right?
I'm good, thank you. What would you like to add, please?
I think Reform is pretty good, to be fair. I've seen some interviews, saw Richard Tice's interview, and he was talking about how they'll motivate people, British people, to take the jobs that like the immigrants are currently taking, or the immigrants are not taking, rather. For example, like our local areas.
1 minute, let me just understand what you're saying. Are you saying that these parties are actually encouraging people back to work?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've seen certain people in our like neighborhood who would never get up to do a job, and Reform's got them busy and engaged before even getting in power. So that's like a really good sign that these people will be motivated to work.
They've made people understand that their position is being threatened by others finally, because jobs have been available in the UK for a very, very long time, right? So maybe
no, I'm talking about voluntary work.
Huh?
I'm talking about voluntary work. Like there's a geezer near mine. I've never seen him go work, but about a couple of months ago, on my way to work at 5:30 in the morning, he was hanging a flag. Like he wouldn't get up for work. And there are so many people who've become like voluntary painters and decorators. They've been painting so many roundabouts. Like they wouldn't work otherwise. You can't blame Reform. You can't be blaming Reform that they're creating all this division, because they're not. Because when I beeped at him, he gave me thumbs up. He would have swore at me otherwise.
Very good, very good, very good. You know what
I
I'm gonna
reckon.
do? 'Cause I think
But to be
I think you
fair,
got us all. I think you got us all. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to do something real quick. Hold on. Oh no, I've pressed the wrong button. Hold on. Hold on. Hold that thought. Everybody hold. Everybody pause. Hold on. I'm pressing the wrong button. Hold on. Where is it? Here. Well done. That was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah, you're right. And the funny thing is that they've never seen this level of community spirit, not this level of camaraderie, since they understood they could be openly racist.
I think they are. I do feel sometimes they do feel a bit insecure because, coming from a migrant background myself, like my siblings, our parents really focused on our education when we was growing up.
Yes.
So everyone ended up getting good jobs. Well, at least most of us.
How was this formally
David,
racist?
be quiet.
How was we formed?
David, everybody on the panel right now, let me repeat it. Please do not unmute. It will be your time to talk. David, you were just on my panel on the other live there. I'm sure you would have known that was the rules. Wait, if you unmute again, if anyone talks, you get dropped. If you want to speak and you respect the panel, you will wait with patience and understanding because everybody gets a chance to speak here. User 793, please continue.
Well, I definitely don't.
David doesn't know how to control himself. He's been dropped again. English people proving us right. They don't know how to respect and they always want to colonize things that don't belong to them. They want to colonize this conversation. Not able to do it. So user 793, please continue.
Yeah, so I'm thinking you're not offending anybody by putting flags up, by painting the roundabouts. It's counterproductive. We couldn't care less. And then we get asked a question, and this is where the division comes in, when we get referred as you lot or your people. And okay, your people what? So whenever we go abroad, we get asked where you're from. We always say we're from the UK. From England. And now in the last year or so, when I've traveled, I get asked one question quite frequently. It's what's with all this racism going on? Because it's projected so much on social media. And these people are so ignorant.
Yeah.
I'm referring these people because I know it's a handful of them that are just completely ignorant. They don't know how to socialize. They don't know how to build relations with people. They don't know how to get to know people. They've never been out of their social circle. Some of them I've personally met a person who's never stepped foot outside Liverpool.
Oh my God.
And he blames migrants for all of his problems in life. And I'm travel abroad, travel to some countries that you demonize. Go to some of the Muslim countries, then you'll know.
Do you know what? I see so many excuses that they make sometimes. They'll say passports are expensive. They've had years to have a passport and actually travel. They don't realize how privileged they are in the UK to have easy travel to Europe and so
I'm sorry,
cheap.
That's a really weak argument because if you can afford to go and buy a bucket of paint and paint a Denmark flag on our roundabout,
yeah.
where you're spending more paint as well, you can save a bit of that money and get yourself a passport.
Yeah, it's true. But that's the thing. They've literally been made to feel that things like travel and holiday is so far out of reach. And that's why it was always promoted. Go to Clacton, go to Bournemouth, stay in the country. But I tell you something, these English holidays are so expensive. Go to Great Yarmouth, go to, what's that other one called? Centre Parks. So
Clacton.
Expensive. Crazy expensive.
They need to go to Clacton.
Yeah.
Since it's so obsessed with Nigel, go to Clacton and boost their local economy.
They need it. They need it. If Nigel's not hanging out in Clacton, they should go and hang out in Clacton.
Believe it or not, they're so uneducated, some of them. I've actually heard one person in workplace say he would never go to a Muslim country and he would rather stick to Turkey. And
Turkey is a Muslim country, even though it's secular.
Exactly.
It's majority
and
Turkey.
That's how uneducated they are. Because they think Turkey, because the people are of a different complexion, they can't be Muslims because they associate Muslims with brown people.
Well, Turkish
They-
people are
the
brown.
thing-
Turkish people are brown. But the problem is, right, their assumption of what they think Muslims are Afghanistan and Iraq. But they actually don't understand exactly how Muslim women in those countries have become oppressed because of the British. It's always them, always their invasions. There was so much freedom for women in these countries historically, education, through maths, science. These countries were incredibly liberal, way more freedom for women than there was in Europe historically. But then what happened was British came. Everywhere the British go, they don't like how much freedom other cultures have. They don't like it. And so they need to manipulate and mold. And they have to, of course, go for other men to make them feel like, well, men, you know what, you're above the women. So you need to oppress women more. And that's how it happens. And that's how things...
But to be fair, like, if you ever want to see how thick they are, like John was saying earlier, you need to go on John's TikTok page, and the amount of comments you see, people just can't get his sarcasm. And sometimes it's so obvious, and they will still fall for it. It's like, how are you taking your country back?
So I actually follow...
You know, I saw another TikTok. It was brilliant because this person, he made a TikTok of himself, like, coming off a little rubber boat, and he goes... I've landed in the UK. And with you guys putting flags up has shown me where the UK was because I've lost. So, you know, painting roundabouts isn't getting nothing. It's just making you guys look like mugs. Like, seriously, like, if you want to do something for the country, like...
Unfortunately, they're not smart enough to actually see that that is what they look like. Like, again, because they feel like they've got a lot of people doing the same thing, they feel like that's normal behavior, but it's not achieving anything. If anything, it's causing their demise faster. As Ashley was saying.
Yeah, and how these doctors and nurses are taking their jobs,
I'm going to move to
I don't know because...
793. Please do stick around, though, just in case there is a time for you to carry on.
Right, I'm off. I need to go paint a roundabout, so I'll catch you later.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a good day. Right, we've got May next on the panel. May, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. Apologies for my outburst.
Okay.
I will address that after. User mentioned the doctors and nurses. Funny you should mention that, because what I wanted to bring up I hope you reform people out there are listening, because this is what you're voting for. When it comes to our NHS and the vouchers that reform are going to give to people so that they can get to be seen faster, it's coming directly out of our NHS money and then going into the private system. If you use your noggin, that means that our NHS is going to have less funding, meaning less appointments, meaning longer waiting times, meaning eventually our NHS system is going to be non-existent because it's got no funding, and it's going to be privatized. It's the perfect way to privatize it without you guys even realizing it.
And the one thing I always say to follow that up is that the taxes that you're paying right now, if you think that your taxes are going to get reduced in order for you to pay for this service, you're silly. You will be paying even more on top of what you're already paying. It's nonsense. The country I've moved to is a Muslim country, right? I've moved to a Muslim country. I moved 4 years ago. Our taxes are very low here, incredibly low. So that means what? We have access to actually state hospitals, and paying for private service is affordable. We can do it. It's possible in countries to have a good medical system and service, but you already pay for these things. So why would you want to pay again? The NHS is supposed to be an incredible service, and it has been, truly, but it's been sold off piece by piece by piece by piece by piece. That even now, when you go to your doctor or when you go to your dentist, they're all saying, you know what, you're probably going to have to go private. They're telling you that. Exactly. It's ridiculous. They shouldn't be telling you that because they know the service is over, or pretty much. It needs massive, massive change, massive funding. The money, unfortunately, has been stolen by the 1%. Any money that we put in, I mean, clearly the accountants are not balancing the books correctly, right, May? They can't be, because it's the 5th richest country. If you look at healthcare in Scandinavian countries, wipes the floor off of the UK. Really and truly.
Yeah, exactly.
I've dated some Scandinavian guys, and I've seen them even during COVID times. Like, we were talking about NHS, and he was talking about healthcare and blah blah blah. I'm like, damn, you guys got it down. You actually do things.
I think our voters for reform have only read the bullet points and not into what they've said that they're going to make happen.
You're assuming they can read.
True.
They can't read because all they're doing is repeating what they've heard. They hear it in their ear. It becomes an ear word. Someone in the comments just said, I'm rude. No, it's facts. You have the lowest GCSE grades. Your average reading age is between 9 and 11. That's old.
Although
you can't read.
My hand is up because I'm one of those people. Unfortunately, I didn't pass a single GCSE. I've got a brain like a sieve. But I refuse to sit there and just be fed what the media is saying.
Good.
Because no matter what channel you put it on, they say the same thing word for word. That should tell you something.
Yes, absolutely true. I think it's really important. Like we've mentioned on this platform about having critical thinking skills. Some people haven't mastered level 1 thinking yet, so asking them to think critically is a bit much, but at least start questioning certain things. And if you believe that you're just repeating what you've heard, please just start asking a question. Just being like, okay, maybe that might not be right, especially because if you're on TikTok, you know it's the same people on this app every single day. They want to go to the same spaces and have the same conversations and hear the same stuff over and over again. It's weird. It's literally become an addiction. Like these vote restore people and these reform voters, this is like the DRUGS for them, right? They want to have their thoughts validated by just repeating the same thing over and over and over. And even when they come up on the panel, I'll always say to them, have you got anything new to say? No, they actually don't.
Exactly.
Yeah, I always say to them, you know that what you're saying is not your idea, it's not your thought. Is there anything else that you want to say? No.
I think for people voting reform,
1 minute, Sammy,
go and look.
Wait your turn because we'll get to you, Sammy.
Go and look at, America. They've made abortions illegal. You can't get an abortion there legally. Women in Texas specifically are being unalived because even if you've got an ectopic pregnancy, you cannot get it removed until you are literally being unalived there. So your ovary or whatever has to burst first before they will medically intervene. Reform is literally Little America. You're on about, it would be good. Maybe some of them think it would be good for the NHS to be privatised and have to pay for insurance. There are people who are paying £10,000 insurance per year for their healthcare, and it doesn't even cover the operations they need. There's one lady who was born with a heart condition. The operation to save her life is $60,000. She pays $10,000 insurance, and she can't get the operation she needs because she doesn't have the $60,000. You really think that that's going to be better for us? They need to wake up.
Yeah. It's sick. I've had conversations recently about insurance, actually. I have a friend who lives here who is going back to the UK and thought that her insurance would cover specific treatments that she has. No, I learned a long time ago, because when I used to work in the UK, I used to have Bupa cover. And you know how they advertise Bupa? Yeah. And actually I was getting it because I have a gum problem. So I go to the dentist quite frequently. It's actually, the funny thing is, since I've moved and I've left the UK, my hereditary gum problem for years has almost disappeared. Truly.
Oh, wow.
True. And honestly, I was at the dentist every 2 months for years in the UK. Since I've moved, it's like reversed. I don't know, but it's reversed.
They do seem to treat the symptoms and not the cause here.
And also, even the it could be stress, Billy No Mates. But the thing is, I didn't feel stressed. The anesthetic they used to give me. So if you guys have a hygienist clean, you know, they sometimes will numb, so other times they won't do it. But me, I would used to have a very deep hygienist clean, and my face, you know, when you see those videos that the face swell up like this, I wouldn't be able to talk or eat for half a day. Since I've moved here, the anesthetic is completely different. They clean. And I'm done. I don't have any of this numbing, any of this problem. I'm now going back to the dentist every 6 months. And it's fun. And I've only been here for, it's 4 years now. But yeah, I think it's within 4 years.
I need to move.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like reversed. And honestly, I'm shocked. Really shocked at how much better my government. Sammy, did you hear me the first time? Clearly not. Let me speak to you real slowly, Sammy. Everybody gets a chance on my panel to speak. Please do not unmute yourself. We go in order. If you unmute to speak one more time, you will be dropped. And that is your opportunity gone by your own actions and behavior. Hopefully that was slow enough for you, Sammy. Right, we've got Aaron Robb next. Thank you so much, May. Aaron. Next.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you. Thank you. Aaron Robbo, are you there? Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you wonderfully, my dear. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm not bad. It's probably not gonna like what I've got to say, though.
Oh, go on, go ahead.
I'm gonna go against the grain a little bit here, do you know what I mean? But I don't understand why there's an issue and why everyone on the panel and yourself have a problem with people that vote for reform and act like it's a racially motivated thing. Because immigration is a problem.
Okay, so
it actually is a problem.
So Aaron, you've made your stance very clear because reform are voting against many things, and you've only brought up immigration.
Yeah, the main problem in the country. Yeah.
You think immigration is the main problem?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of people are going to disagree with me in it. But how many of you are from Manchester? You are in nicer areas. You ain't seeing the half of it. Go walk down Wilmslow Road at night and see how welcomed you are. Go to Piccadilly Gardens and see who's approaching you at night time when you're on your own. It's one demographic, innit? And you talk about English people ain't working and this and that. I pay taxes, I work. All my mates working at any working class areas. Go to Piccadilly Gardens. You see a lot of these doctors / engineers. They're on pedal bikes and that harassing people. So you can say,
Are you telling me historically Manchester has always been safe?
Manchester's never always been safe. You can say that for any area.
No, you can't say that for
we've already had our own problems.
You can't say that for
we've
any
had our own
area,
problems.
Aaron. You can't say that for any area. The problem is that I understand that you guys are saying things about these doctors and nurses on bikes, but at the same time, you don't actually seem to understand the issues that were already in your community. I understand if you're coming to this idea of saying, well,
make our country great again.
I always forget, right, that on this app, you only need to be 13 years old minimum. 13 years old. So we do have a lot of people who are not developed cognitively and also physically yet. So I have to block people who do stuff like that. But the funny thing is sometimes age is not a thing because I still have people who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s who don't know how to control themselves on panels as well. Age ain't nothing but a number sometimes. But yeah, Aaron, I understand what you're trying to say is that nowadays you feel that immigration is a problem and you feel like, I mean, do you feel personally unsafe on the street?
Oh, I'll tell you this, yeah, and God's honest truth, yeah, I'm a Christian, and on the Bible, right? Everyone will disagree with me, they'll think I'm lying here when I say this. There's a Palestine protest that was going on Wilmslow Road a couple of years back, right? And I was walking through on my ones and on my own, and I felt sound. And there was a group of lads, yeah, across the road who were Asian, they shouted, "You effing white B-word," yeah. For no reason. If people are going to think I'm capping in it, they're going to think you're lying, just not trying to fit a narrative. On my life, I'm telling you it's the truth. And like you said about these areas, Manchester's never been safe. Yeah, Moss Side, Moston, Longside, Clayton, yeah, it's always been known for like gun crime, this and that. But we don't need more issues in the country. We've already got enough wrong'uns who were born here. Why add to that issue? Yeah, not every one of them is bad. And I believe in legal immigration. but we're just letting any Tom, Dick and Harry in the country.
Well,
And they're
a lot
running
of
around.
people that you're probably thinking about were already born in the country already, like people like myself and other people who have been here for very, 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 very long time were born in the country. And I think maybe if you're talking about Manchester and of course the north of England, are you aware of white people pea bashing since the 1950s? Do you know what that is?
No.
You
What
don't
is
know
that?
what that is? No.
No.
Okay, maybe look it up. So the slur for Pakistani actually came from white people in England. They needed to actually come up with a slur to, yeah, see people are saying it in the chat. Please don't say it in the chat. Please do censor yourself. So basically they came up with this slur to beat brown people up specifically. There were big groups of white people that came from all over the countries to, can you mute in the comment section, anyone who's repeating that word, please immediately mute the moderators because I've asked them not to say the word. Some of them are ignoring because they think it's a green light to actually use a slur. It's not. Yeah, so like I was saying, big groups of people were going to many different areas around the country and finding groups of brown people. And this is anybody who was brown, by the way, which meant black people were included, and beating them up specifically because they were brown. That's where the slur P came from. It was in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. It died down a little bit, but of course it's restarted itself again on the topic of people just being Muslim. So anybody who looks brown, who they think is a Muslim, is also subject to these being beaten up. But of course, we're seeing a rise against this particular violence against women, especially. And in that, and actually there have been some very bad crimes in the 90s where Pakistani men were actually unaliving white guys. I've only found 5 cases. When I think of racially motivated crimes towards white people in the UK, I think I could only find 5. But again, it was retaliation for all of the decades of harassment and abuse that white people were doing towards people from Pakistani background or brown background. So when you were shouted at, I've got a restriction, I don't know why. When you were shouted at in that particular, you see, I'm not going to tell you whether that happened or not because I wasn't there. I can't tell you if it did. But for a reason for you to understand why that might have happened, you need to understand your environment of where you actually live and where those problems actually came from. Yeah.
2 wrongs don't make a right, though.
Of course they
Of
don't.
course,
Why should I as an Englishman?
Of course
Yeah,
they
so
don't.
that's
Sammy,
it.
you've been told like
Be
3
rinsed,
times
rinsed,
you're
be
not able
profiled.
to do it. May's got a question for you, Aaron. Sammy, you've been dropped.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you genuinely think that people from these other countries genuinely would prefer to live here, or do you think that they would prefer to live in their home country in safety where English, American and blue state boom booms are not falling on them?
And what do you think? They're staying there, aren't they? It don't cost that much to get a plane ticket and sling the rock. They clearly like what's there.
You missed my question completely.
And I haven't at all.
Yeah.
You've just said to me, do you not think they'd rather go home?
No, that's not what she said.
That's not what she said.
Well, listen, you've got other places, right?
Do
that
you
ain't
want
being
them
bombed.
to go back to Palestine, to Yemen, areas of Afghanistan, where boom booms are actively falling present day?
No, probably not.
And that's why our
What
immigration
about France?
is also up.
What is France being bombed?
So
France is safe, isn't it?
on that note of you guys saying about safe countries, etc., what language does the world speak? What language are we speaking? Aaron, what language are we speaking?
Talking English.
Yeah, exactly. And how is that? Why is that?
Yeah.
Why are black and brown people speaking English so well?
What, so are you going to go into a coronation type thing?
Well, yeah, that's what it's about, Aaron. If you don't want to talk about it, I can't help that. It's not my history.
The thing is,
But
though,
colonization is a
the thing-
massive part as to why
I get
people
you.
can speak English and then go to the country that they can speak the language of. Because a lot of English people, we know, find it very difficult to learn a second language, a third language. But the fact of the matter is, in all these other countries and in the schools, they are taught English. And sometimes it becomes people's first language. Of course, they're going to go to these countries and be like, okay, I need to reset up for myself. So I'm going to go to the place where I can speak the language. And also, as part of British colonization, Britain itself marketed itself as an amazing country, full of opportunity, full of sunshine and rainbows and gold. Britain did that. We didn't do that. We wouldn't come there if it was negative promotion. It was positive promotion.
I hear what you're saying, but you're talking about colonization and all that, yeah. But a lot of them countries are worse off now that we've left.
Colonization and all that. It's not colonization and all that. Like, literally understand.
No, what's wrong with saying that? Just because I'm from Manchester, is how we talk. Just because you're probably for a bit more privileged background.
Actually understand what war does as well. So I see someone in the comment section saying about war. You were involved. Like, Britain and British people don't understand that having presence in 171 countries out of 195, you, as part of that, got people to know who you were. Even, right, I do a lot of research, guys. Recently, someone was talking about, I saw a video, someone saying, oh yeah, we should go to countries, Muslim countries, and set up churches. You did do that. And the main reason why you set up countries is because you had British soldiers in these areas, that you wanted them to be Christian, you wanted them to practice their religion. You were also using churches as extensions of the British embassy. You were also making sure that your cultural identity was known in these countries. That's what British people were doing. Like, you have to understand what colonization actually looked like. I haven't even talked about the crux of colonization. I've talked about just the use of even religion in these countries. Everything Britain did was to promote itself and to get people to buy into the idea of Britain. So if you're upset about immigrants and that doing what they're doing in the country, being in the country, you need to speak to your ancestors and you need to speak to your government, because that's literally
right. But that's going away in the past. Let's talk about the present.
But that's
like, you're acting like it's me who's done these things.
Aaron, explain.
Can I ask the lad a question?
Yeah, 1 minute, John Kelly. After my question, I'm asking a question. I don't understand. Like, Aaron, do you think that we just spawned in the country today? Do you think that this is a video game that we literally just arrived in the UK like today?
Why are you asking me simple questions like I'm dumb or something?
Exactly. It's a simple question. So
you're asking me
have the
for my
simple
accent
answer
and
that we didn't just spawn. Things happened beforehand in order for us to be there. It's not the past.
Yeah, but people of your ethnicity are privileged now. You're not suffering now.
So what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?
So listen, we were the first people. British Empire was the first to abolish slavery.
Oh,
it was black slaves that sold black people.
Aaron, you're going down the script now. Aaron, you're not coming up with anything new or original.
No, because you were talking about white people before.
Aaron, 1 minute, because I never mentioned anything about privilege. I never mentioned, you have said now about white privilege. I've never mentioned this. When you guys mention about privilege for black people, all it says is that you, and the way you came up here, Aaron, was you said the north of England is bad, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I understand that. And now you're personally upset that somebody like myself has excelled. That's what you're upset about, and you're upset that immigrants and descendants of immigrants are also excelling in the same system. That's what you're upset about, but that's got nothing to do with us, Aaron.
No, I don't give a
fuck.
I don't
Go and talk to your government about it. Go and talk to your ancestors about it. It's literally nothing to do with us.
Just being a victim now. You're just being a victim.
Don't project onto me, Aaron. You cannot project onto me, sir. You can't project onto me.
I'm not projecting.
Yes, you are. That's what projection is, sir. This happens a lot with English people. Is that you?
It's not. You're just being condescending and grouping everyone. English people.
If I'm condescending,
if I say black people,
Aaron, if I'm condescending, I learnt it from your people. John Kelly has also got a reply to you. John Kelly, what would you like to add?
Go ahead.
Yeah, first point, if you're going to group English people, then welcome to the party, because that's what everybody else has to deal with. Secondly, my question was, are you concerned about your safety, your lack of opportunity, or are you just annoyed that you have to live with black and brown people?
It's nothing to do with black and brown people. As you know, Manchester, especially my side, has a massive history of being ethnically diverse, especially black.
Yeah, so the reason I asked that is
Nothing
because,
to
you
do
know,
with that, mate.
Manchester's
It's the
safer now
culture.
more than it's ever been.
It's the culture. If you go walk down Lunshaw Road, mate, what's it like to you? Does it like England? No. I feel like our culture's being rid. I like it's a bad thing. You can't raise an English flag. Or you're a racist if you're walking with an English flag. You're in England.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so
Dude, I was in Manchester the other week for the Britain
You're
First
in
March. There was a lot of
You
English
are in
flags.
England.
Let me ask him a question.
1 minute,
If that's okay.
Elmo. Please wait, because I'll come to you, Elmo. Thank you as well for coming by, because I really enjoyed your panel that you did the other day. I want to ask you a question about it. Aaron, how old are you, Aaron? Can I ask how old you are?
24.
How much? 24?
Yeah.
24, okay. You're 24 years old. You've had 24 years on this planet. Before 2 years ago, when did you see England flags around?
Church of England, obviously Euros, mainly churches, to be honest.
Yeah, so mainly
And
football and
like
churches.
veterans' houses and that.
Okay.
Veterans.
So yes. So why would you think that English people were not raising their flag before then?
I mean, you so maybe probably didn't realise how bad the country's got to, where it's wrong to raise English flag.
No,
I don't know.
The thing is, nobody's ever said that raising the English flag was wrong. There was even a campaign done by Labour in, I can't remember what year it was, to say that actually people need to fly the flag a little bit more. But English people chose not to, because inside, they also do know what colonisation is. They know what wars are, and they didn't want to associate with that. And also, during the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, like I mentioned, it was associated with the National Front, who were also part of doing those P-bashings, right? So it ended up having a bad reputation. And the English flag is not the only country that has the St. George's Cross, right? You know that. In other countries, when they celebrate St. George, they actually celebrate the person. They celebrate him as a Christian martyr. It's nothing to do with what the English people do with the flag, which is literally raising it every time they want to be racist.
It's not raising it every time it would be racist. It's just,
No,
if I put an English flag in the front of my house here now, people walk past and have a problem with it, it's straight away, this is the problem.
Because you're doing it
Well,
now.
these are racist.
If your
Can I quickly
parents
just
and
say
your
something?
family were really patriotic, why were they not doing it before, Aaron?
You always have.
I don't.
My dad
think
has
that's
always had an English flag.
Okay.
All my life is
So
true. What do
that
you
makes
mean?
me have that does
My-
make me
my-
have a
my-
little bit of an opinion about what your family line might be. If that's the truth, because the thing is,
See, that's the problem right there. That's the problem right there.
Aaron, you said that you were telling a story about some racism that happened to you and you weren't lying. So I'm going to trust that everything that you say that comes out of your mouth is the truth, right? I'm going to trust that because I'm a trusting person.
Yeah.
And if you lie and you've said that you're a Christian, who's going to judge you, Aaron?
Guys, I've put me on the Bible right now. Everything I've said, I've not lied once.
Okay.
Not
good.
lied once.
Well, then you take it up with
Give us a
God.
Bible
I'm going to move to the. We don't need to test his Christianity. We're going to go to the next person. Thank you, Aaron. We've got Him on the panel. Him's been waiting a long time. Him, how are you?
Hey, pleasure to meet you. How are you?
And you too. Thank you so much. I'm lovely. Thank you. So this topic basically is to do with the fact that English people, you know, they've had, well, UK anyway, we've had local elections. Some of the councillors have voted, others haven't voted. I was not in the constituency that could vote this time. And the fact is that English people have voted for reform, whereas the Scottish National Party and Plaid Cymru have actually become the biggest number of seats. So Scotland and Wales are clearly making it a very, very strong that they don't support what reform are standing for. So what would you like to add to the conversation, Him?
Yeah, I think you made a few great points. I am Polish. I hope that is okay that I give an external perspective. I have lived in the UK. I currently also live in Ireland. I've traveled across the world. I've been to every single continent, including a lot of Muslim countries. So I hope that's okay. The main point of concern I have is actually regarding the safety of women. I don't fully support reform in any way. I do think they have a lot of flawed policies. But the first kind of thing that caught my eye is in Poland, Poland and Britain and majority of Western European countries, the grape statistics were on par from
I'm going to
about.
mute you a second, him. I'm going to mute you because I know where this is going. I moved to a Muslim country 4 years ago. Safest I've ever been. And you're talking about being Polish. I want you to understand that you aligning yourself in any way to the English is a big mistake. They didn't want you in the country in 2016. They voted against Eastern Europeans. They were harassing you. They were burning down your businesses. They were unaliving you. They were doing all of these things, him, okay? And if you cared about women, you would not just be focusing on this Muslim problem, because honestly, it's not a problem. Any statistics that you're thinking of have been literally fabricated by the government. If you actually cared about women, you would be caring about your own people. I don't know what the statistics are of crime against women in Poland. I don't know that at all. But the fact is, you've talked about England, and the problem is we're talking about here is England. We're talking about England and English problems. Muslim men are not a big problem. There has been, of course, the G gangs, which were diabolical, right? There were two G gangs. There were the Telford gang and the Rotherham gang. What was worse about these things was that the police, right, the white British police were more concerned about seeming racist than actually protecting the children. I need you to understand that. If you've actually read anything about the country, you would not come up here and defend English people because they don't like you in any way, shape, or form.
I'm not defending
right? But
British
the
people.
first thing you did was you came up and started talking about Muslims. Go to any.
No, I haven't finished my point.
We are very, very safe. We are very, very safe. And John,
can I try to get to my point if you don't mind?
No, because I could hear what point you were trying to make.
No, but you don't know what my point is.
Yes, we could all hear because you said you've said.
I don't think Muslims are inherently bad.
You've said the main points that we've heard many times. And John Kelly has got something to respond to you. John Kelly.
So we've debunked this a number of times. Basically, the statistics they're using are reported grapes, and the UK and Sweden and other countries expanded the definition of what is grape about 15 years ago. So we've improved our reporting systems, but there haven't been a massive increase in grapes. There's been a massive increase in reporting because women in this country now feel trustworthy to go to the police and report.
And also,
okay, I get that.
1 minute to follow that up. 1 minute to follow that up. It is also a little bit of the opposite as well, John, because we're also being very aware of how much corruption is within police. So you'll see thousands of stories from women in the UK that when they go to the police about their white attackers, by the way, about their husbands, about their brothers, white police officers will also dismiss the situation. So women are actually not really going to police to report of this. And if they are going to the police about somebody from a different ethnicity, that case is more likely to be seen. So it's not necessarily that they're doing more of the crime, it's because the system is heavily, heavily discriminated against black and brown men.
Okay, so you assumed what I was going to say. Also, John responded to me before I even made any statement. I haven't even finished saying what I was going to say about Muslim people. So I would like to say that how familiar are you with Islam in itself as a religion?
That's got nothing to do with what we're talking about.
No, but
we're talking about English people.
It's connected.
We're talking about English people and the election results. What has Islam got to do with that?
Yeah, I can tell you right now. What it has to do is there is a lot of British Muslims, correct?
Goodbye. I've dropped you. Honestly, that is so fucking boring. We're not having this kind of conversation of Muslims are the problem, blah, blah, blah. That's got nothing to do with the fact that if you talked about immigration, right? You talk about immigration being a problem. That's got nothing to do with Islam. Nothing to do with the religion. Like, you're a Polish dude. You should be embarrassed because you're just doing what the English people want you to do. You should be embarrassed. How long have you even lived in the UK to be that brainwashed so fast? You still had and actually you were living in Ireland. I heard an Irish accent there. So that's freaking sad. Very, very sad that you came from Poland to Britain and then you immediately came into this situation to be like, I got to be on the British side. So I got to say that Muslims are a problem. Boy, embarrassing. May, you got something you want to follow up that with?
Yeah, the way they've done the numbers. So if you go to a white British majority city, then the level of great crime is going to be white British. That's going to be the highest. The same as in a Muslim community or predominantly Muslim city. And that's how they've fabricated these numbers, if you like, is absolutely ridiculous. And they've obviously not gone and looked into what the punishments are in Muslim countries. Instead, they've done yet again, sat down, put the 6 o'clock news on and just been fed the information and taken it as truth.
This is me in a Muslim country right now, guys. Look at my door. It does have the key in it, but it's never... My door is open. That's my dog. This is around. My gates are open. That's my car. You see it's open because you see the wind mirror is open. My other car is at a garage somewhere. They've got the keys somewhere. Hear how quiet it is. Hear the birds chirping. I literally sleep upstairs on my terrace. I even told the story that I have, right? I have Pakistani men who live next door, about 10 of them in the house next door. And I still sleep on my terrace upstairs. I told the story. Dodging bullets, the reason why my house has gates is because I could afford it. All of the houses here have gates on the front. All of them. The houses were built this way because why? It looks cool. They're not locked. The gates, my gates are generally open. The dogs come inside. Everything is cool out here. I never do that in the UK. My front doors are always locked. My cars are always locked. Everything is always locked away. Here it is.
You know, the UK used to be like that.
No, it didn't. Switch, be quiet. Don't talk. Wait, your turn.
No, it didn't.
If you want to say something, you can. Okay?
I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again. I promise.
Okay, immature. You're being drop switch. I literally told you not to do it and you did it. See, English people, English men can't control themselves. You literally waited. You wait so much time to come up onto the panel and yet you can't follow simple instructions, which is just to mute until you're ready to be called. But yeah, you had to make a childish voice on there, perfectly representing your people. Right, we're going to B1 next. B1, how are you today?
Good, you?
I'm lovely, thank you. Really good. So what would you like to add to the conversation, please?
Just to start off, I think, you know, yourself, May, and Johnny are full of, you know, contradictions to what you have to say, like talking about the grooming gangs, the police, the white police being too racist to arrest them. Well,
No,
not being
that's
racist
actually
to
a
arrest
fact.
them, you
Have
say.
you actually read the reports? Have you actually read it?
So not all the police are white. You've got mixed.
B1,
you
first
know,
of all.
mixed.
B1. First of all, understand the point I'm making before you make your point. Okay? The G gangs in Britain, predominantly brown G gangs, Pakistani G gangs. The reason why these crimes went on for such a long time is because the white police officers didn't want to seem as being racist. It's literally in the report, B1. The white police officers thought they were being racist by saying that these guys were doing crimes against kids. That's what they thought. They thought that. B1. Now, do you want to carry on? B1. 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 Are you there?
Yes. Sorry, I thought you muted me. Sorry. So yeah, my point still stands. It's not just white police officers. But going back to the actual topic,
Well, you're not understanding the
with
point.
migration.
Did I ever say that there were no black or brown officers in the UK? Lord have mercy. This is a simple conversation, B1. Really simple.
Going back to the topic, because it's just going to go in circles because you're not understanding.
No, you're not understanding, actually. Don't project onto me, sir.
The problem...
You're not understanding, B1. Just go to the topic, please.
So why didn't the black or
Asian or, you know, why didn't they go in and arrest if the white was too scared?
Doesn't get it.
He doesn't get it at all. What's the majority?
I think he does get it.
Okay, let's try and dumb this down, like really and truly. Who do you think are the majority race in the country, B1?
White people.
Yes. So who do you think has made the system for the police? What race of people?
Well, unfortunately, due to, you know...
It's a simple question, simple answer. Which race of people created?
Oh, it's Muslims. Brown people. Joking.
Yeah, you don't joke. You've been dropped. Too bad for you. B1. This is very. You've really slowed down the conversation. B1. It is a white system. It is a white country.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, obviously.
White. There are going to be in any races, even in the white officers. As
very
well.
accepting.
Listen,
very accepting
B1.
white people. Yeah.
B1, listen. Even there would have been white officers that whistle blew on the G gangs, and they did. They did whistle blow, but it is a white system, and these are majority white officers that were dealing with the case. This is really freaking basic, B1.
No, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, it's a white system, you know, majority are white people. Obviously, it's the UK. It's gonna be.
So the white people make up the rules in the system.
Yes, but we've become so accepting that we've been scared because we seem as racist to arrest these gangs. That's the trouble. When you talk about yours, it's yours, it's May's, it's John's, it's all of yours because you talk.
I'm white.
Yeah, May
I'm
is
white, B1.
And John is white, by the way. You've got two white people beneath you.
Yes,
B1.
in their brainwash, that's the trouble.
You're blaming black and brown people for being black and brown, and you're blaming us for the fact that white people created race and racism. If we just, for example, just took all of our skin off, right, and we just walked around in muscles and skeletons and blood, that would make us feel better, because then you wouldn't have to acknowledge our skin color. That's what you're saying.
That's not what I said.
That's what you're saying, B1.
That's not what I said. If you listened.
I can hear what you're saying. You're blaming black and brown people for your inability to accept that we're different colours.
No, I'm blaming the people that constantly bring up colonisation when at that point of time, everyone was colonising. Arabs were colonising.
B1, you are the classic copy-paste little boy that hasn't got any new thoughts. He's seeing everything said on Facebook, on X, hasn't got critical thinking skills, is unable to go to the next level and understanding. You are demonstrating that clearly, and B1, I'm sure, is probably your level of education, right? So if you learn English, they'll tell you A1, A2, B1, B2. See, you are at B1 level of understanding the English language and also understanding your country and the history of your country. B1 level. John, you've got something you want to add on to this as well, please, sir?
No, I was just going to say that what went wrong there is you acknowledged what happened, and his point was lost because he was going to try and use it as his point, but you acknowledged what happened. That's where he got lost. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you acknowledged the G gangs, you acknowledged that the details of it and what happened, and that threw away his whole conversation. He got thrown off.
How did it throw away my conversation?
Yeah, it did, because you're used to being combative against certain people and not actually understanding the full scope of the conversation.
And I just see it, you're the racist one. You're racist against white people. That's what you're.
Yeah.
You're just talking absolute shit. You've got a bad job and you're just facing it. You've obviously got a problem with white people.
On the panel?
Do you know what's the most interesting thing about this thing, right?
English people.
One minute. So Tommy has been waiting for a very long time to come up. He's been waiting in the chat. He knows that he's not supposed to interrupt. And he just came up just to say that I'm racist. Because again, white people don't have any ability to understand race and racism. They don't understand that they were the ones who created race and racism. They don't understand what racism actually is. And because they're too scared and now too afraid to be called racist, us all talking about racism makes us racist, apparently. But I mean, this is why I say, Tommy, you would know what racism is, considering your people created it. So you would know exactly what racism is.
Yeah, we definitely created racism.
Yes, exactly.
Definitely.
Thank you,
It weren't around before the fact. It's never been around until
B1
white people.
admitted it. Did you hear it, guys? He said white people created race and racism. He got it. Yay!
You live in a Muslim country and it's so much better than the UK. Which Muslim country do you live in, by the way?
Yes. Well done, B1.
No, what-
Yeah, maybe we might put you for that one. We might put you to the B2 class.
What Muslim country do you live in?
B2 class,
No,
maybe.
there's another irony here.
Maybe.
And the other irony is he was so keen to come on and talk about the G gangs, which focuses on one community. And now he doesn't like the fact that we're generalising one community.
You just keep repeating the same things. I have multiple things to talk about.
Go on then, talk about something else besides the G gangs. What else do you want to talk about?
Right. The topic at hand, sorry. So, reforms come in because people have a problem with migration. You guys seem to have a problem with it too, but you just don't realise it. You've constantly moaned about the NHS and how crap it is in your Muslim country that you live in. Oh my God, the dentists are so good. I can see them all the time.
I did not complain.
All this, blah, blah,
about
blah.
the
The
NHS.
problem we have...
1 minute.
Yes, you
I
did.
didn't
The
complain.
problem we
I
have... Yes, you
said,
did.
B1.
Yes, you did.
It's the best health system in the world.
I did not complain. I said it's better here. I said I don't know what it is, but something is better. My problems have been cured. I didn't complain.
I can tell you what it is.
My mother worked for the NHS for many, many years.
I can tell you why it's better there.
She was a nurse for many, many years. I haven't even talked about the personal problems that I do. There is one very bad thing that's actually happened in my family to do with the NHS that I've not even spoken about. It's very bad. Very, 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 very bad. And I've not even mentioned that, B1. And when I say bad, I mean bad.
I can tell you why it's bad.
I mean bad. B1, you don't have any listening skills, unfortunately. You've got C1, well, level 1 listening skills as well. So that's a problem. We're going to move to the next person. We've got Elmo on the panel as well. Elmo, how are you?
See, you're not even letting me talk. Why are you moving?
Hey, folks, how you doing? B1.
I was going to tell you why it's bad. I was going to talk about...
B1, nobody cares what you have to say. You've got nothing new to say and it's boring. Really, go
Also,
to
do you
another
do
panel.
facts? Waiting lists have come down by 400,000 under Labour. Why would you not just vote for Labour?
Yes. Well, because racism is winning and they love it. They want to nurture it like it's their baby. That's why. Elmo, how are you today?
I'm all good. I'm just watching the election thing every 5 minutes, trying to see what is coming out of it. But other than that, it's been an absolute joke.
Yeah, well, that's the way things are, unfortunately. England is showing itself from what we've always known it to be, racist.
To be honest with you, what I do find interesting is that a lot of people, even though we've seen the misogyny in majority of their councillors and the things that they've spoken about, how women only deserve to be in the kitchen, or they are in a man job that they shouldn't be getting what they get, or they are not worth the same if they give birth, or like so many different things that they have said. And some of these councillors are standing 10 foot down, literally no problem. They have no issue. And they will stand down and double down on what they said. Yeah. And yet people voted for them.
Again, racism is more powerful to them. Their hatred of themselves and for other people is stronger. This is why we have to understand. This is not just a country issue. This is a cultural issue. And this is why we have to talk about history simultaneously as part of the conversation. They've always not liked women. They've always not liked themselves. They've always not liked other people. And it's England That's the problem. Scotland is doing something else now. Wales is doing something else now. Ireland are really fighting to unite again, right? And it is very sad that English people have so much hatred in their hearts that even they're willing to sell themselves down a river to get rid of their human rights, to privatise the NHS, to make sure that women and children are protected. Like, this is really fucked up. Really.
Yeah, and I think that people maybe don't see it in their perspective, but when we're talking about privatizing the NHS, currently your GP appointment, your A&E visit, if you're having a hip replacement, if you're having an ambulance, if you're having a coronary bypass surgery, all of that is for free. Under a reform government, a GP appointment can come to about £129. An A&E visit is about £1,368. A hip replacement surgery would be about 23 grand. An ambulance is going to cost £1,000 to get an ambulance to your door. A coronary bypass surgery, 71 grand. So when we're looking at these figures, and these are all estimations, none of these are like 100%, but when we're looking at these figures, do you think every person that is in the hospital for a coronary bypass surgery as we speak is having the ability to spend 71 grand on a surgery?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
From where?
They've slowly been making us get used to paying for certain healthcare, especially when it comes to the dentist. Like all of those, and that's why I brought up an example of the dentist earlier, is that all of these prices and paying for certain things is really creeping into your everyday life to make it seem like it's normal. And the previous governments have been doing this. We're actually being trained. And this is the thing in the UK. Everything is always about training. And so if Reform get in, they're going to act like they're not prepared for these prices, even though they've been told. You know the figures, Elmo. I know the figures. I'm sure May and John have also seen the figures that have been floating around as well. I'm sure they have also seen the figures. But because they're so brainwashed and they're so delusional in their mindset, they think that this stuff will not happen. They think it won't happen.
It's sad. Right? And this is, by the way, so you had racist comments that were made by councillors where one of them said that he wants to use all Nigerians and melt them down to refill the potholes. That is a councillor for Reform. You had others that said that all Muslims need to be pew-pewed and unalived. Like, it's some crazy xenophobic, racist comments that they've made, as well as misogynistic. Like the misogyny that we have seen from them, Lee Anderson, Danny Kruger, Farage, what was it called? Matt Goodwin. You had Robert Jenrick. It's just so many. And the thing is, like, these people, like Peter York and the others, they say some disgusting things in regard of women should never leave the kitchen and all of the other things I said earlier. It's just...
It's abhorrent. And this is why talking about what's happening present day is important to reflect upon what's happened before, right? So if you guys don't know, I think maybe it was you, Hermit Sapien, that told me this one, or maybe it was Good Dawning. I don't think she was here. Somebody told me that in 1964 there was an election in Smethwick, and it was the Conservative Party. This was their slogan, okay? 1964. Right? Not that long ago. This was the slogan. If you want an N-word for a neighbour, vote Labour. That was their slogan for the Conservative Party. Not UKIP, not BNP, not, any of those parties, not Reform Now. This was Conservative in 1964. And like I keep telling you guys, Reform, Labour, Conservative are all conservative. They do not like anybody who is not white and English, and a white English man who is rich. If you are working class, like anybody below upper class, below the 1%, anybody, you are disliked by these parties. So why do you think that they represent you? Because they have one thing that you have in common with them? Well, I hate black and brown people and I hate Muslims, so I'm going to vote for them. Don't tell me that I hate English people, because I don't. There's many
Thank
things.
you.
There's many. I don't.
They don't understand that.
I don't. There's many things I do dislike, though. I'm very honest about the things that I dislike. I dislike the fact that you don't want to learn and educate yourself, and you don't want to grow. I dislike the fact that you're voting against your best interests. I dislike the fact that you discriminate against every single group of people on this planet. I dislike these things. I dislike the arrogancy. I dislike the ignorance. I dislike the racism. And you guys embody it. You embody it. I don't hate you because I don't have that energy within me. I dislike those parts about you. And if you are wanting to be a healed English person, you will understand that that's a problem. But too many of you embrace those traits. You think it's cool to be so hateful. You think that. Nobody has said all English people, because otherwise that would say all English people. I always give you guys a very basic lesson in English. It would say up there all English people, but the topic is English people. If you are different, like John, like May. May, you say you're English? Where are you from, May?
I'm Welsh.
You're Welsh, sorry. Welsh.
I'm from Wales.
So May, you're cool. But John is English, and we have always English people in the chat, always English people on the panel who understand the conversation, because guess why? They've gone to the next level of their thinking. And yes, Paul, they have critical thinking skills. They know we're not talking about them individually. We're talking about England or English people who actually uphold white narcissism and all of the crap that comes with it. They've literally done the work. So thank you, Elmo. We're going to go to Zed. Oh, actually, one last question, Elmo. Your Congo, Sudan panel, do you have a date for that? You haven't done it yet, have you?
No, it's next week. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 7 p.m. UK time. It's going to be for about 2 hours and a half. We're going to start with Sudan. With our friend Ali.
I'm going to ask you to introduce it properly so everybody here can have a real understanding of what it is that we're talking about, because this seems great.
Yeah, of course. Guys. So me and a friend of mine, her name is Swan. She is a big content creator from America. Basically, we worked out an idea of doing a global initiative to help 4 different causes at the same time. And try to amplify and educate people in regard of what is happening in these countries, as there's not enough coverage and there's not enough help. So a friend of ours is, his name is Ali. He is walking from London all the way to Sudan over 4 months. He currently already have done 2 months. He's in Greece at the moment, I believe. So he will join us. The first event will be on Thursday next week, the 14th. He will join us 7 p.m. UK time. And we're going to be raising funds directly through his link. I'm not going to have any links in my bio. Everything is going to be the organizations. They're going to be on a panel. They're going to have the link in their bio. People can directly go there and do what they can. I'm not affiliated with any organization. I'm just kind of helping amplifying the voices. I don't want this whole, he's stealing money, all of that BS. It's just never stops. So start with Sudan. And we're putting a $2.5K target for Sudan. And then the next day, which is going to be Friday, the 15th, we're going to be doing Congo. So we have a good friend of ours who started an organization in Congo. It's called Focus Congo. It is a massive organization where they have been looking after families, women. As people not aware, Congo has become the capital of SA in the world. The people and women and girls have been completely kicked out of areas that they lived in because they were SA'd or grayed, and they looked at in a different perspective. It is absolutely horrifying what's happening in Congo, and the G-side has been going on for decades. So we're going to have Papi Orion, who is a founder of that organization, as well as Focus Congo. We're going to be also raising another $2.5K for that event. The goal is going to be for getting 5 goats, livestock, and getting a water tank for that village. We've done initiatives with them before. So we have done a chicken coop, which I've posted a video on my page, where we have... So we have a chicken coop, where the chicken coop basically had 50 baby chicks, and I think we had 50 big chickens, and posted a video on my page if anyone wanted to see it. We also distributed 2,000 pairs. We worked with Solar Palestine, which is an NGO organization that is registered by a good friend of mine that she has created as well for Palestine. She helped us with that, and we were able to raise, I think it was 2,000 pairs of shoes and clothes that was distributed for the kids, because the village was positioned in a volcanic area, so the ground is all damaged. So we're doing that on Friday. Saturday is going to be for Palestine. We're going to be working with One for Hope. It's an organization as well. We're going to be distributing 50 food baskets for 50 families, which is going to be another $2.5K for that. And the last one is going to be on Sunday. It's going to be for Semha. She is an Eritrean that is living in Libya. She's a good friend of Swan, and I got to see her a lot on the panels. And if people know what's happening in Libya, there is a massive slave trade that's happening in there. There's not a lot of coverage. There's not a lot of updates of what's happening in Libya. So we'll be raising, I think, about 150K coins on TikTok to 200K coins just to try to help her with her day-to-day and to try to help her with her rent and everything that she needs. So the main idea is just to kind of raise awareness on what's happening. And yeah, we're going to be having a lot of content creators from all across, and hopefully we're going to have quite a lot of people in there. We've been pushing it hard to try to get as many people in, and especially to get these targets met. And we've got 2 hours and a half because people span kind of runs out after like a short, like if they last too long, people are going to start getting bored and leave. But yeah, the main thing is people to directly go through their links and donate, and to avoid TikTok so they don't get a percentage of what people are actually giving. But yeah.
Thank you so much, Elmo. So guys, please do make sure that you click Elmo's profile. Please do not interrupt. Please do not interrupt. I understand your situation is difficult, but we're also having a separate conversation here. If you see Elmo's profile, please do click it right here, click the plus button, so then you can make sure that you join that conversation next week. So that's, of course, raising funds for Congo, Sudan, Palestine, and a girl from Libya as well. Thank you so much. We're going to go to
Eritreans, just to educate people about what's happening to Eritreans in Libya.
Yeah, go carry on, Elmo.
I cannot verify who she is. I'm sorry. She says that she's from Gaza, but I cannot verify who she is.
Thank you. Yeah. Around these panels, so if you guys know, we of course there are a lot of people from Palestine who unfortunately do need to come to panels and collect TikTok coins. But generally in the community, you will have other people who can verify their identity, because unfortunately you get a lot of opportunists who are then, of course, getting a lot of money from TikTok and from people when they're not actually in the Palestine situation. We want to make sure that if we are donating, it's actually to people who need the money. So this is why I can endorse Elmo raising money for Congo, Sudan, Palestine, and the girl from Libya. Do you want to say quickly for the last bits, and I'm going to move on to Zed, about the girl from Libya, please, Elmo?
Yeah, so Semha, she is an Eritrean. She is in Libya at the moment, and we're going to use the opportunity to help educate people on what is happening and the slave trade that's happening in Libya. And the main reason is that because there's no NGOs, there is no coverage and God of what's happening. So we want to use the opportunity to educate people on what's happening, as well as help her with her current situation, with her rent, with everything that she requires, her food bills, everything that she needs, to try to help her going and moving and just trying to keep her pushing. And yeah, that's the main target of that. Kovi is going to be there as well. She's going to be able to help with helping educating the people about what's happening as well. So it's going to start on Thursday next week, end on Sunday. So it's going to be about 2 hours and a half. Honestly, guys, I appreciate no one gives me. Honestly, I appreciate you so much. Don't give me. Just save your money for the event. That's the most important thing. It would be really helpful for everyone. I do need to dip though, Fox. I appreciate you for having me up. But yeah, keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Elmo.
Followed Emma doing that.
So please do not talk, Sebastian. Yeah, so everybody, next Thursday to Sunday, please do check out Elmo's lives next week. They're going to be fantastic. And of course, the person he mentioned, Kovi, she is incredible. She really is so clued up. She knows everything about everything. So you're going to get some great knowledge and information from her too as well. So Zed, this is the topic. We're going back to topic now. So this is about the local election results. English people have voted completely differently and unexpectedly, to be honest, in my opinion, that they voted for reform. And Wales and Scotland have voted differently. Scotland have voted for the SNP, the Scottish National Party, and Wales have voted for Plaid Cymru, which again is putting more onus on actually Scottish culture and Welsh culture and the things they actually need in their countries, which again is not really about racism. So what do you have to add, Zed?
Sorry, I'd like to just start by saying I'm an immigrant. I've been living here for about 15 years.
What do you mean you're an immigrant? From where?
I'd like to... Sorry?
What do you mean you're an immigrant? I'm an immigrant.
I'm an immigrant.
What
Like
do you mean?
I wasn't born in this
What
country.
does that
I've been
mean?
living here for 15
What does
years.
that mean? Immigrants don't normally come in here hot-headed and be like, I'm an immigrant. What does that mean?
No, I'm just saying. I'm not hot-headed or anything. I'm just saying. Sorry.
No. I want to know exactly where you're from. If you call yourself an immigrant, where are you from?
Well, my father is from Angola, and I was originally born in St. Petersburg.
Okay, interesting. Carry on.
Anyway, I would like to say, start by saying, so you're very seems like you're very anti-reform and conservative, correct?
I'm not anti anything.
Anti anything? Okay. Well, I'd just like to say for example, people that are voting for Labour and Greens and things, they're very pro WEF. I'm sure you're aware of the World Economic Forum.
Okay, yeah.
Obviously supporting things like, centralized banking, things like this. But they also cause lots of issues globally, for example, causing wars and things. And a lot of the reason why all the big blue bees, as you were saying earlier, being dropped across, the Middle East or wherever. A lot of these political parties do tend to support this, organizations like this, and tend to support, the United States in these bee campaigns. And honestly, I think Reform is one of the only political parties that seem to be anti-WEF and don't seem to want to get Britain itself into many more, or included into many more wars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like I'm kind of trying to. I'm struggling to find I'm trying to understand what you're saying at the moment, because Reform is very MAGA based, which is very pro-war. So I don't understand how you. Am I understanding you correctly? I don't know if I'm understanding you.
I don't think so. So, for example, I'm just going to use the war in Ukraine as an example.
Right.
Stopping support for the war in Ukraine, for example, that is something Reform has been trying to do for a while now, by stepping back and letting it be fought between themselves rather than including ourselves with business that isn't ours. I think the nation and political parties itself should be focusing on nation-owned problems rather than worldwide problems.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And I think Reform is more trying to do that rather than any other political party, which is trying to involve itself in
more than Green and more than Lib Dem.
More than Green, 100% more than Green. Green, the party is fun. Sorry, can't speak. The leader of Green Party
think that Reform are more or less pro-war than Green. Like, Green is literally what they stand for. Their whole thing about Green is no more wars. And you think that Reform are more anti-war than Green.
Yes, absolutely. So, obviously, you know who Zach Plansky is, the leader of Green. Sorry, listen, please, listen. So, Zach Plansky is the leader of Green Party, correct?
Okay, let's not talk like stupidity. John Kelly, you got something you want to add to that? John Kelly.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This is so obvious. Nigel Farage said we should have followed Donald Trump into the Iran war. He only changed his opinion when he realised that the British public weren't supporting.
Reform on a war and cooking shit.
Bye. Carry on, John Kelly. Carry on.
Yeah, so Emi Badenoch and Nigel Farage said we should have followed Donald Trump into the war. Then it became apparent that the British public were not for the Iran war, and he changed his tune.
Zed, do you want to respond to those facts?
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry, that is correct, yes. Anyway, as I was saying, please, I would like to finish my statement before you jump to conclusions and things. Zach Plansky, obviously, the leader.
Conclusions, Zed. Nobody is jumping to conclusions. You make a statement.
You keep talking about people interrupting me. You keep interrupting me. So please, have the same respect.
Guess what, Zed? I'm the host. I'm able to do that. If you don't like the way I'm hosting, you can literally go somewhere else. What we do is
you're running at other people for interrupting, then you're interrupting yourself.
Zed, we correct misinformation. If you want to spout lies, you can go and do that elsewhere. You've agreed that he did say that these parties want to follow into war. So already your claim has been debunked. Okay, so you've come up here spouting a lie, which you've agreed is a lie. Now you can carry on, Zed.
Right, anyway, as I was saying, thank you. Green Party, Zach Polanski, obviously the leader of Green Party, is a member of one of the leading contributors to WEF and World Economic Forum, and one of the leading contributors and one of the bigger funders for the Ukraine war. So saying Green is anti-war while still protecting...
Hold on. Stop. Stop right now. Thank you very much.
Yeah, do it.
Stop, Zed. Stop. Do you find it, Zed, beneficial to yourself? Like, really, Zed, when you talk, do you find it beneficial to speak in this way? For you personally, not for anyone else who's listening, do you find it personally beneficial to say things like this? Like, what does it do for you?
Say things like what?
This stuff that you're coming up with right now, how does it make you feel?
Oh, okay, I understand. So you're obviously not educated on the WEF or
I
anything,
just asked you,
regardless.
how
So,
does
okay, that's
it make you
understandable.
feel?
Okay, no problem. That's fine. That's fine. So you're going to sit there and say, I'm spreading misinformation while being completely clueless yourself. Understandable. That's okay.
And yet you're talking about this WF, right? I don't know much about it, but you're trying to say that Zach has funded more than Nigel Farage. Your issue clearly is Green, right? That's your issue, right, Zed? Your issue is Green
100%.
Party. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm
And
trying to get
Labour
at.
as well, with the
Your
censorship
issue-
and
your
things,
issue-
but then, you know,
your issue
the whole
is
of the
with Green, it seems. And what are you trying to do? You're trying to say that they're hypocritical in their behaviour.
Oh, I'm saying, yeah, absolutely. They're saying they're they're very anti-war while being the most pro-war political party, actually, out of all of them, to be honest, other than maybe Labour.
Tell me about this WFEF funding that you...
So the World Economic Forum are things that organise centralised banking, you know, organised by the Rothschild Corporation, things like this. So people who have basically, the elites, as people tend to call them, the people that kind of run the world and kind of own these political parties. So obviously the owners of Green, Labour, you know, Conservatives included as well within this. And Reform being more of an independent leaning party is the only party that hasn't really been involved, other than maybe Lib Dems.
So interesting things that you're thinking, interesting things that you're claiming. Why, in your mind, right, you think whatever you've read about Zach Polanski being in the WF, which is actually not true, but even if it was true in your mind,
it most definitely is true.
In your mind, if you think it's true, which is not, because I'm fact checking simultaneously, it's not true. But if in your mind you think it's true, why would the Green Party simultaneously be calling for decades to have a wealth tax? Why would they be doing that?
Well, wealth tax is completely irrelevant, realistically, isn't it?
It is. If you're thinking that Zach Polanski is part of this billionaire class, because that's what you called it, you called it this class, and you think Zach Polanski is part of it, why would he also be calling for a wealth tax? Would that not take money out of his own pocket? Like, why?
Well, hang on a minute. How many billionaires live here compared to the rest of the world? We have a very, very small amount of billionaires within this country.
Please answer the question. You said Zach has given funding into the WF. I said I didn't know about that, so I've just fact checked it. You said this thing, which means you believe it. So let's understand if you think Green Party is doing this, why would they also call for a wealth tax? Their slogan has literally been for the last 5 years or so, tax the rich. Why would they be doing that?
Tax the rich. So while taxing the rich, which rich people are they taxing exactly? Can you state who they're taxing exactly? Which kind of people?
By your logic...
Are they taxing private business owners, or are they taxing big corporations, for example, the shell companies and the oil companies?
Zach Polanski, by your logic.
Sorry?
You don't need to apologise to me. Apologise to yourself, because
I'm asking you to repeat. Sorry.
You're misunderstanding what you're saying. You should apologise to yourself. I don't need no apology.
No, I'm asking you to repeat yourself, please.
You said The
Yes.
WEF is being funded by Zach Polanski. You said he was one of them,
Correct.
a big contributor.
Right,
Like
the
I said-
WEF
like
isn't,
I said-
again, the WEF is a World Economic Forum, not the United Kingdom
Okay,
Economic
yes.
Forum. That's
But
what you
like
need to
I said,
understand.
I'm
So they're
literally
taxing the rich
Googling,
within this
Zed,
country, not the rest of the world. You need to
You're talking very fast and not understanding what you're saying. I fact checked that at the same time because I'd never heard that before. I'm not seeing anything at all about him doing any kind of funding. The only references that are coming up with him talking about this WF is the call for the wealth tax. Nothing to do with him being funded by it, nothing for them having any kind of association whatsoever. Okay, I'm not seeing a single thing on my UK Google that I use, on my UK Ecosia. I'm asking the question, I'm not getting any answers back. So like I said, if it's true in your mind, because I'm not saying it's not true, I'm saying in your mind and what you believe, what would be the reason why they would still tax the rich? What is your answer to that question?
There isn't a reason exactly, is there?
Can I ask that he brings his source?
Yeah.
My source? What do you mean, my source?
Well, you have this information that.
Well, there's millions and millions and millions of sources. Can I ask your source? Sorry, can I ask your source?
There's millions of sources.
You make the claim.
Zed,
you bring the source.
Zed, if
Sorry,
there's
can you stop muting me also?
sources-
You said you're fact checking me. Which source are you using?
Like I've said, I've put it into the same search engine that you would use, Zed. I can show you right now. Everybody, let's look at my same internet, right? The same internet. Let me just flip the camera, right? The same internet. Zach Polanski, Green Party WF funding, search region, United Kingdom. This is Ecosia browser. The first thing that comes up, Green Party, call on government and Labour to use Davos. But it says underneath, as the WF forum begins in Davos, the Green Party has repeated calls for a wealth tax. We go down a little bit. This is first page of the Google search. Let me just show you. It's first page because it says next, right? Next, because you can see at the top what I've put in very clearly. It says, oh, Zed is gone, guys. Zed is gone. He could not understand fact checking.
Double cooked.
He's gone,
Double
guys.
cooked.
This is what happens if you allow these people to spout misinformation, and they get upset that they're interrupted. They always run away. They want to believe lies because they don't actually have the intelligence to believe anything else truthful.
His source is probably from the papers.
It's probably from Facebook, May.
Where?
Facebook.
Oh yeah, all that.
We're surprised though.
Yeah.
It's also from Facebook. Right, that conversation is done now, guys. So clearly, Zach Polanski is not being funded and not funding the WEF. Next point. Right, we've got Uncensored on the panel, please. Uncensored, how are you?
I'm great. So in regards to the local election results, I mean, I am quite surprised that Reform have managed to get that many votes. I mean, to be honest, a couple of years ago, like I understood it because like the British right was just so sort of dissatisfied with both parties, with the establishment. So then the media knew that they had to fill a void, and so they started promoting Nigel Farage and Reform UK, and because of that, Reform managed to get millions of angry votes, you know, and that's why they even rose to the top of the polls, because they just kept getting more angry votes. However, those angry voters, what they want is they want to kick all the immigrants out. They want to kick all the Muslims out, especially. And the thing is that the only reason why those angry voters even went to Reform, because they saw them as, okay, well, they're not going to fulfill everything, but they're probably the only option. But then they see Nigel Farage, they see him as like too soft. He's not tough enough. He only wants to get rid of the illegals. They want all of them out. That's the thing. And so that's why, and like, you know, Rupert Lowe, for example, he was the most like far right MP of Reform, you know, definitely. And I think he was one of the main reasons as to why the so many of the far right even went to Reform, because, you know, they had the likes of Ben Habib, Rupert Lowe, like genuinely far right people, but they kicked them out, you know. And since then, you know, they want they want mass deportations, they want remigration, but at the same time they just don't understand reality. Imagine knocking on people's door saying, hello, I'm running for election, I want mass deportations, I want remigration. That's not going to resonate. That message isn't going to resonate with anyone, because they think that's only going to appease these online Twitter troll bots, rage bay accounts, you know, like Basil the Great and others, you know, and like that's just far-fetched from reality.
But the
Like,
thing is, though, it kind of isn't far-fetched, because we know a big percentage of Reform voters are older people, and they are still going back to their DNA roots of racism. And, you know, you see on, if you haven't or have, you know, should see on Facebook, the conversations generally under any post that's got nothing to do with immigration. They will make the conversation about immigration, and it will be always deport them all, deport them all, deport them all. And then even when you go to particular pages run by Restore Britain, which you've mentioned, of course, is the most extreme form that we have in the UK, officially, by the way, as a party. We're not even talking about the Schmartsies, which still exist in the UK and always have done. When you look at pages like Restore Britain, every single freaking conversation, regardless of the topic, kick the foreigners out, get them out, get them out, get them out, from people of different ages. This is the social media age. This is the technological age. If tomorrow, the ICE style equivalent, which is what Nigel Farage wants, right? He wants an ICE style system in the UK. If that starts in the UK, Reform voters, they'll be standing there on their front doors clapping. But at the same time, we know for a fact that there are Eastern Europeans voting for Reform. There are Black and brown people voting for Reform. They're the first ones who are going to go, and they're going to get the lesson first. And then they will turn on everybody else, right? Black and brown people. And then they will turn on themselves. Because historically, this is what English people or people from that part of the world, English people, you forget your German descendants. Your bloodline has always been like this. You've never remembered that this is your people, and you've exported your bullshit internationally. This is the same shit happening again. Even when you fought in the Schmartsies, these were your cousins you were fighting. They're your people. Same thing. Same thing.
And another thing as well is that like these people, like a lot of people of color that are supporting like Tommy Robinson and Unite the Kingdom, like they just don't understand is that racists aren't accurate with their racism. They want you all out. A lot of them want all of the people of brown skin out. So they basically want to go to some kind of, you know, Aryan race where they like the only people that they want in their country is just white people, you know. And again, like you saw what happened not long ago where a Sikh woman was raped by a man who they thought that she was a Muslim. Now Tommy Robinson loves to tokenize the Sikhs as the model ethnic minority they've integrated. They can say it's only the Islamic community that are causing the problems. We've heard that basically since his EDL days, you know, and that's the main reason as to why he even resigned from the EDL was because it started to be infiltrated by like white supremacists and neo-Yazis and whatever, and he lost control. So that's why it was back in 2013 that he had to resign. But anyways, you know, Tommy Robinson and a lot of the far right love to tokenize, you know, the blacks, the Sikhs, the Hindus as the model minorities, and that it's just the Islamic community. But a lot of the far right can't really tell the difference. You know, they're not accurate with their racism, and they'll be the first to be, you know, they're only just tokenizing them now, but as soon as they get power, they're the first on the remigration flights.
Yeah, I think what's really a key point there to pick up is that racist people very much are indiscriminate with their racism. You know, we know all of the phrases that white people bring up, and even English people who happen to be white bring up. You're one of the good ones. They'll say, some of the Sikh community, you're one of the good ones. I even stitched a video with somebody on this app who, when the crimes against Sikh women or Muslim women began, he said things, and it was a white guy. Like, if you guys remember the story last year, I think it was a guy on a bike. Was it the guys on the bikes that attacked the Sikh woman. And the first thing this guy said was, and we knew the perpetrator was white, they gave the description, they said what he was wearing. The first thing that this creator said was, I love the Sikhs, I love the Sikh community, but already he was doing this, dismissing it to be like, I don't want to talk about this because the perpetrator looks like me. And it's like, you're trying to say that the Sikhs are okay, but you're actually not supporting Sikh women, because if actually you cared, then you would actually talk truthfully about the crime. But then what he went on to do was to say, oh, remember there was a crime done last year and they gave the same description. Well, we're sorry that white English men look the same. Like, really? You want us to give similar description? Like, the people that are doing these crimes kind of do look similar. Like, what you're expecting? All of a sudden you change skin color? No, you kind of look the same. Somebody said that he was caught, which is good. In the conversation, the emissary, thank you for the comment. They caught the guy. They caught them, by the way. Thank you so much. We're going to go to Sebastian next on the panel. Sebastian, I am going to wrap up the live because I've been on for quite some time. Soon, I think it's been like 5 hours or something, because it's hot topics today, guys. Hot topics. And this account now I can see, because I'm recording, is 2 hours 45. So we're going to wrap up.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, I've been up a long time. And like I said, this is the second part. The first one, I don't know how many hours I was on for, but quite some time. But yes, Sebastian, what would you like to add, please?
Ready. So I also came in, one of your mods actually invited me in here. And so I also came in whenever they were saying that some of these individuals were saying that white individuals, we can have racist towards us. That's not what racism was made of anyways. Like, you can be prejudiced against us whites, but you cannot be racist. That it is about systemic oppression. That is not what we whites have ever experienced. So, and also just whenever you can't show basic respect to a fellow human being, I don't get it. And the fact that so much of reform getting in was also based on, like, who was the other person that came up here that said that it was based on rage, that it was rage farming, that's the whole reason. As someone who is a minority of myself, with what reform plans to do with the Human Rights Act, as someone who in the protected class, currently protected class of the LGBT, it also makes, I call the short end of the stick being attracted to men, honestly.
Sorry about that.
I don't like I know, I do not like the male ego and how they are so arrogant and they have to be right no matter what. I don't get it. But I do appreciate you having me up here. It's like, sorry about earlier. I was not trying to interrupt. By the way, earlier I was mentioning I followed Elmo because I do absolutely adore people who are trying to support those without a voice. Does my heart good.
Thank you so much,
when is the next time you're live?
This is very random for me. I literally said I was not going to be on until next month, but because this is, of course, a hot topic, it's like we definitely need to discuss what's going on in the country. It needs to be.
Men have balls. That's the problem, mate. That's not the same thing as having balls. You thinking with your ego and your arrogance. That's not the same thing as having balls. But.
Yeah. So usually my updates though, you guys will see when you go to your TikTok, there'll be the circles of people that do stories.
Yeah.
Generally, I'll put a post, a bit of text on the top that says when I'm going to be next on live. But this today and even yesterday, completely spontaneous. So thank you so much, Sebastian. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you for turning the camera on. Thank you. We got Emissary. Emissary, you are the last person today. I might be on later. Let's see the conversation. But for now, we're going to finish up with the Emissary. The Emissary, are you there? Yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
Lovely.
Thank you for having me on. And I can imagine you're quite tired after this live.
Do you know what?
Dealing with
I'm an
all
extrovert.
that.
I'm an extrovert. I got energy. So, it's okay.
Okay.
I'm okay.
I wish I was. Unfortunately, I'm introverted.
Oh, I can give you some of my extrovert things because, to be honest, I think I got too much.
Please do.
Right,
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick point, really. I'm white working class. I'm in South Yorkshire, so my constituency was Labour for 50 years, and it's been taken over by Reform. Over the past 2 years, my particular community has experienced riots at the hotel with the asylum seekers, and then you had the marches and the flags being raised and all that sort of stuff. I think I'm going. If Reform get in for the general election, I think I'm going to leave the country because it's not my country anymore. When it comes down to it, us on the left, whether you've got a different life experience in comparison to me, just based on skin colour alone. But banding together to stop whatever this is, we need to do that. I'm glad the SNP won. I'm glad Plaid won, because then they've got more power when it comes to the next election. We need to get rid of first past the post. We need to just organise and stop selling weapons to these, crazy people that want to just make a bunch more money to be, more greedy, to feed their ego, whatever else. We're all human at the end of the day.
Yeah, I like the fact that you brought up this first past the post. If you guys remember, we did have the opportunity. I think, was it 2018? I always forget. Let me just get the date of when that was, because this thing really did my head in and annoyed me so much. So it was a voting reform that they actually did. Let me get the year. It's actually, where is it? Change voting system. Change voting system. System UK. We put that in. Let's see what year it came up. I can't find the year. Anyway, we did have the opportunity to vote to change it many years ago, but the UK government knew that if they changed the voting system, they would not be able to manipulate us as much as they do now. The way that they worded the form, do you remember this vote, Emissary? Were you old enough to vote for this?
Yeah. I mean, I'm 32, so but the political landscape was different back then.
Well, I was still I still wanted that. Naomi, who, thank you, was saying 2011 or 2010. I went there and I wanted to change how we vote. I said, I don't want this first past the post stuff anymore. I want to change it. But the way that they worded it, it was like, hold on a minute, hold on. This doesn't make sense how they've worded this. And I was standing there scratching my head. And even when I came away from the booth, I said, did I even vote for the thing that I thought I was voting for? And that's how politics is. Do you actually know what you're voting for? Most of the time in the UK, you don't. Or you believe a certain thing. Or you even have your head in such tunnel vision to say, I'm going to vote. This is the reason I'm going to vote. Even though if that party's in power can't execute your dream. That's why you really need to be so clued up when it comes to politics.
Same with the manifestos. They can publish a manifesto. It might not be costed, and you can look at the voting history that they've done, being MPs. Actions speak louder than words when it comes down to it. So,
most definitely.
I think we need to. Honestly, I think we need to give the Greens a shot, genuinely, because wealth tax, good shout. It's going to fix a lot of problems. People are going to feel better. It's going to get cheaper. 25 grand a year shouldn't be minimum wage. That's crazy. 10 years ago, that was a good wage. And now it gets you nothing.
Yeah, it's true. That's all you have to do. As soon as you start touching the rich, taxing the rich, that wealth distribution is immediate. Look at what Zoran Mandani has done in New York already.
Yeah, my mayor.
Yeah, our mayor, everybody's mayor. Everybody's mayor. He has done so much good work so fast just by actually thinking about where the wealth is in New York and how to redistribute it to make sure that people are actually becoming more safe and their streets are actually being cleared and everything is, and free transport, hello? Free transport.
Oh, yeah.
Do people not want this? I said, I feel like English people just have so much dislike in their hearts that they don't know what they actually need to vote for, which actually would benefit them more. And I've also seen this phrase about English people and white Western Europeans, that they would literally press the self-destruct button and take everybody with them, rather than actually being like, right, okay, you know, I can see where there's some things that can be fixed. They would rather press that red button and annihilate us all, which is very sad. Very, very sad.
It's also a lack of control as well, I think, in personal lives, which is the reason why they vote the way that they do.
Yes.
You know? So, yeah.
Yeah, May, you got something?
She's tired. I don't think that I would like help in seeing if true or not, because I think it's important that we do find out whether it's true or not. I came across a TikTok post of an Iranian British national. She's got a British passport. She said she done all the things to vote and be able to vote and got her voting card. But when she went to the voting poll, she was not allowed to vote. Her name was not there. And then when it got back to it, like obviously finding out why, it's because she's Iranian, but she's got a British passport. So if that's true, then how can we say that a fair election was held?
Yeah, I want to know more. I want to see more information about it, because I saw that video as well, and people are making some right comments. Like, if she registered, I didn't see that part whether she did, because I saw some other people saying that they've never had to register before, but all of a sudden you have to register, which is actually really interesting point, because we never used to before. It's just like we know your address, I know where you live, but also they are asking for ID, which they never used to ask for before. And this is why when we saw all of that stuff that was happening with the elections in America, all of these things that are kind of changing, which seem subtle, are to stop certain demographics of people voting. That's what we need
I've got an answer to this. It's the Tory party did it in the when they were in power, as a way to gerrymander. That's why you need IDs, and that's why you need to register. But it didn't used to be like that, as you quite rightly pointed out. But it's because of the Tories. It's not just
that. She was granted. She had her slip. She was she registered to vote and got her slip to vote, and it was at the polling station she was denied. On a comment, somebody said that their mother wasn't able to because of having Syrian citizenship as well. Yeah. So how can we say that the country's held a fair election? It's more, is this true? People were turned away from the polling station after already having the right, in a sense, to vote. They voted before. They were registered to vote this time, but denied at the polling stations. That bit, I think we need to find out, is that true or false?
Can I just say goodbye to Fox quickly? Fox, do you know what you said about a black person that's going to vote for reform, and somebody's going to say this one's a good one?
Yeah.
I just sent you a picture, because I've got a snippet of somebody that said the exact same thing online.
Thank you. I will check it out. Thank you.
Right. Love speaking to you guys. See you later, guys.
And you too. Thank you for being up here for so long, and thank you for being such a welcome voice from the English representatives. Because it's always nice to have one.
Yeah, don't tell him my parents are Irish, okay?
Okay. That's why.
He's one of the good ones.
That's why. It makes sense. Your name is bloody John Kelly. I should have known.
Yeah. Sorry, man. Sorry, but you said. But remember what we said. We don't hate the English. We're just trying to speak to them. That's all.
Yeah, that's all we're trying to do. It's literally we're talking about our history, our truth. Everything that we know and understand. It's up to English people to know and understand what we're talking about. If you get defensive, not our problem. But yes, I think on that note, actually, I am going to end it, guys. This was a really good conversation. I think there are more people who still want to come onto panel. There are going to be plenty of lives over the weekend talking about this stuff. Maybe I'll come back later. I don't know. In my time zone, I should have started eating a long time ago. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you to the mods. Thank you so much, everybody, for keeping it real down there. This is my other account. If you don't follow this account, please do click up here, because my lives have been restricted on that other account until the 12th of May. So up here, if you click the plus next to my name, thank you so much, people. Click up there. That means you get the update to say that I will be back online again for another conversation. So these are going to be very spontaneous, I feel, because the universe is saying, Fox, you need to get involved in this conversation. You need to bring the people together to understand what we're talking about, how we're thinking, how we're feeling, and also need to comfort each other, because this is some bullshit. This is some bullshit. So,
thank you again for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. Take
and
care.
thank you so much to you guys as well on the panel. Thank you for holding it down and for being my last guest. Appreciate you all. And again, everybody in the chat, thank you so much. Until next time, have a glorious day, everyone. See you later. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.